All right, hello everyone. I am back after a very, very long break for another match analysis stream. Today it's going to be a special one, something that's been in the cards for a very long time. But the person I wanted to co-commentate uh, for this particular match is also a very busy person, and I've been a very lazy person, so it's taken a long time. For today's match analysis, I'm going to be joined by none other than Antistar, alias Anti-Who, alias Mario86, alias the person who I will almost exclusively be referring to as Mario from here on after. Mario, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. Thanks for welcoming me on this match analysis. That's something I've been wanting to do for a while, actually, because the first time I heard about that, I was like, "Oh, that's a very cool thing. I should really do this someday." And of course, since I am a busy person and since you're a lazy person, we probably spent 3 years without doing it, I guess.
It's been a long time. I think we started talking about this when I did my first match analysis videos. I think there were 21 or 22,
Oh
something
yeah.
like that. And then immediately you were saying, "Oh yeah, we should. I would love to join you to
Yep.
discuss a couple matches, one of which we'll do today, and that I will present in more detail." And since then, we've been stalling in one way or
Yes.
another, but finally we're here. Thanks
Well,
for
the thing
joining
is,
me. I didn't mention that, but thank you for being here,
oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
and I'm really looking forward to it. So
Same, same.
usually what I do for these is before we go into the match itself, I try to provide a little bit of context for who's playing, what the circumstance of the match is, and just try to provide a little bit of background to the people watching before we really dive into the match itself. So
Yep,
to
sure.
that end, first I'm going to talk about what match are we going to be analyzing today. And in this case, it's going to be the match race, big surprise, grand final from SMKAS, aka SMK All Stars, which was the PAL 2020 championship. So it wasn't really a, let's say, within the CDX line. So it wasn't a, as we would call CDE, CDF, CDM, etc. But it was de facto the PAL championship for 2020. We had a pretty limited number of entrants. I think it was something like 16, six,
15, I think. We,
15
we were
entrants in
still
total.
more people than there were on CDF 2003.
This is
So
true.
that was, and I think twice and a half more people than ASMKC 21.
Indeed. Yeah, so ASMKC 21 was a very particular championship since no one was able to travel to the US in order to participate in the championship due to lockdown restrictions, and they only had 6 entrants that year. But so for SMKAS, as we affectionately call it, aka All Stars, we had, yeah, let's call it 15 at the moment because I can't be bothered to check the exact number right now. Strange for me, I know. Um, but it was 15 players that I would say was a surprisingly stacked field. So the event took place in the Netherlands, and despite the fact that it was in August 2020, we still managed to get, well, obviously Mario from France. There were a couple other French players as well. We had a Belgian player, and I think we even had at least one. I think it was one UK player who attended.
We had one UK player. Yeah, we had Mr.
Indeed.
Yorkshire SMK, Chris Barker.
Yeah. So all in all, I'd say it was a pretty good turnout given the circumstances, and it's also worth noting that although some of the top hitters from prior years were not there, it was still a surprisingly strong field, with the exception of battle mode, where really none of the top players were there. We did have a surprisingly strong, competent field. Um, and I think it's worth noting that if we compare to the following year in 2021, where most people compete nowadays, let's say in the 2020s were present, I think we had something like 6 out of the following year's top 10 were present in 2020, and I think 3 of the top 5. So just to give you an idea that while not everyone was present, we still had a good chunk of the people there. Uh, let's see. in addition to this, right, the people involved in, okay, let me think. Do I want to say more about the event itself? No, I think we're good. Uh,
No, I think it's good.
yeah.
I think perhaps we should just introduce the fact that it was the first PAL championship with double elimination system.
Yes, that is a very salient point, very relevant. Thank you for bringing that up. Indeed, this was the first time that we had a double elimination bracket for a PAL championship. It had occurred in the NTSC championships, but up until 2019, so from 2002 all the way to 2019, every single two-player KO stage was single elimination at PAL championships. And this year, you know, especially with the strange circumstances of the championship being what they were, we decided to experiment a little bit and try double elim for the KO stage.
Yeah, that
Uh,
helped a lot.
and it was a very nice opportunity to do that, and it was a successful experiment, and we've kept it to this day. So as of our recording now in 2025, we are still using double elim at all championships now for two-player modes.
And it
Now,
was a really good surprise because I wasn't really excited about it.
yeah, you
And
were one of the big skeptics of the Switch.
yeah, and I tried it first at SMKC in 2019. I was pretty surprised actually. It looked like, well, maybe we should try this in PAL. And I think SMKAS, as we refer to it, was probably the best way to give it a try in PAL. And yeah, that was really the best thing to do, I think.
Yeah, I was really glad with how it played out. I say this also as someone who is a huge, and especially was a huge advocate for double elimination. I've competed in a lot of fighting game tournaments, well, Smash Bros, but the structure is the same. And I was baffled that single elimination was still being used for SMK championships. So I was really glad that I was able to push it through for the experiment and that people enjoyed it, including responses such as yours, Mario, and that we've been able to keep it for future events. That's I was really happy about that. But anyways, so let's present then the players in this match. Uh, I don't know if you
I
want to
really wonder.
present yourself or if you're okay with me doing it.
um, I would like you to introduce me. I just want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, so first off, on the left in the camera that you can see is Mario. And Mario is, first of all, at this point, one of the veterans of the SMK community and especially the championships. So he has participated starting in 2004. And in fact, I have a little tab switch here. You can take a look at his results, the overview of his results at PAL championships.
I
Uh,
love who my main rival is.
yeah, yeah. So that this is one of the features of our beautiful website, designed and maintained by Scoob. Thank you, Scoob. You can see, yes, Carol is Mario's main rival. But
In
so you
every mode,
in
even
every
battle
mode,
mode.
yeah. Takasama konbanwa. So as you can see, Mario has participated in every PAL championships since 2004, with the lone exception of 2006. Uh, and has medals, or this is up to 2019. Uh, 2020 does not appear because it is not considered an official, like within the line of CDX, which is what this website keeps track of. But as you can see, Mario is very much a time trial player. That's where his primary focus was, having won that event two times. As we're looking stepping back to 2020, right? So up until that point, he had won time trial twice, and had been on the podium multiple times, and had managed to make a single final in 2015 in two-player modes. So in match race 2015, he had made the final, got in a silver. I don't know if you want to speak briefly about it, if you felt like you had a chance at the gold or that was a satisfactory result for you, but it was certainly an outlier. This is the first time you made it past the quarterfinals. Any brief mention you want to make there?
Well, I wasn't really looking for gold in my trade that year. I was really more focused on time trial just because I had played the speed gaming tournament a few weeks before SMKAS,
Yeah.
the time trial speed gaming tournament that I won against Carol, which was kind of unexpected because I felt like I was lacking training and I had really consider retirement at the end of championship, 2019 championship. Sorry.
Yep.
As you can see, my 2019 results were pretty disappointing compared to everything that I'd done in the past. And I really had the feeling that the best of my Super Mario Kart years were behind me. And that SMKAS tournament was, I think, a good opportunity to improve my medal collection in multiplayer modes, because the field, as you said, was pretty stacked, but it was not an impressive one, so the opportunities were really real, even in battle mode, even if I failed miserably. But
I'll get to that. We'll talk
yeah,
about that part in a moment.
yeah, true. But I had a good surprise the year before, because I attended the first American Super Mario Kart Championship and managed to get another match race medal there. I was third, just behind Kara and Sammy. And I already was like, okay, that's a really good opportunity to have a nice moment with my friends in a very strange year because of COVID. And I can see really if I'm still a good SMK player or not. Because if there are very few players and if I don't get any multiplayer medal, it really means I'm nothing but a TT player anymore. So that was that was some kind of proof of concept about my SMK skills, I guess.
So thank you for the context. I think it'll help set the stage. And one more thing
Sure.
I want to emphasize, I think, on your position within this championship or going into this match, right, is that you were not a established top match race player, right? You had
No,
made that one final in 2015, but as we can see from your results, right, historically you would always lose in quarterfinals, sometimes even in top 16, depending on how your group
a lot,
stage had
yeah.
went.
But that was my favorite 2P mode, actually. And that silver medal in 2015 was really a huge relief, and I really felt it was deserved, because that was a mode I wanted to get a medal in much more than in GP, actually. I had 2 bronze medals in GP before that. I won't say that I didn't want them, but I didn't desire winning them much more than I did when it came to match race. Match race was much more important for me, because I really loved that mode. I loved the fact it felt like time trial with items. And my results don't show how much I try to involve in being good in match race and trying to get a medal there. I think I probably had 2 or 3 group stages where I was undefeated in match race, but almost every year, as you can see, I failed in quarterfinals. Sometimes it was pretty painful. I remember against Caro in 2011, I was leading 5-2. He won 7-6, and
Ouch.
I remember that day I was like, "Oh my god, I'm never gonna get this medal ever."
Yeah. But at least in 2015 you got one, and we'll get to what
Yeah,
happened in 2020. But so yeah, so this is, let's say, the general overview of what Mario's history with the championships looked like going into SMKAS. And
yeah.
so with that said, we'll now take a look at mine, and you can
Do you
see
want me
that
to
it's
introduce you?
sorry.
Do you want me to introduce you?
If you'd like, go ahead. Yeah.
The only data I don't have is your SMKC 20 results, so you will comment more about.
I'll mention that once you're done.
But yeah, I would really love to express my point of view when it comes to how I was regarding you before SmackAss, because I really think this is important for the context.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Um, as everyone can see here, you started your championship career much after me, because you're way younger than me. You're 10 years younger than me. And of course, when you attended the first championship, you were 16 years old, 15, even 15,
15.
I think.
15. Yeah.
Yeah, you were still 15. You attended the 20th anniversary championship, the 20th anniversary of the game, of course, which was the biggest. We had the biggest field yet, with 51 players. And yeah, you tried to do what you could in group stage, but you had very little experience of Super Mario Kart. You were a big Mario Kart Super Circuit player, and you came back 4 years after, and you looked much stronger. You really showed you had some potential. But I think you really, really started to show the huge time trial and multiplayer potential you had during the first alpha year in 2018, when you reached that quarterfinal in time trial, and that oh no, that was a year after, but in 2019 you had that legendary fight against Takashi in Grand Prix
That was
in
2019, indeed.
in round of 16. And I remember after that 2019 championship, I really, really had the feeling that the new rising stars of Super Mario Kart were Takashi and you. And I think I was pretty right, actually, considering what happened in the very, very recent events. And when it comes to your ASMKC 20 performance, I I know you did well here, but I don't have the results. So I think the best thing to do is you talking about it.
Yeah, so, well, first of all, thanks for the kind words for the introduction. And indeed, so prior to SMKAS, a few months before that, in fact, the very weekend that the full lockdown was announced in the US and in Europe, we had ASMKC 2020 in Monroe, Louisiana, which I attended, and that was my first NTSC championship. And there was a step up compared to what you're seeing on the screen at the moment for my results up until 2019. I got my first ever championship medal in time trial. I was a single crash away from getting gold in time trial. Uh,
Wow.
I successfully made a platform jump on GV1 against Sami, and then crashed the first corner of the very next lap.
Oh,
But this was after surviving
horrible.
on my very last life against both Sami and Carol for I think 5 or 6 tracks in a row. So that was a very emotional moment me, and it's really emotional moment for me, and it's really what launched me, I would say, into the category of a top player, even though I had to follow up that first performance, of course.
Mm.
Uh, Later that event, I also got, I believe, a bronze medal in match race, if I'm remembering correctly. And then battle mode in GP did not go as well, let's say, but I was still in the mix. And all that allowed me to finish third in the overall ranking for my first ever trophy at a championship. So we distinguish between medals per mode and trophies for the overall ranking that covers all 4 modes in an event. And so I was arriving at SMKAS after a very successful American championship for me.
Yeah, because that was 4, 5 months before. It was in March, right?
Yeah, so it was in March, and
Yeah,
then
5 months.
SMKAS was in August of that same year. So that's sort of, let's say, our backgrounds, Mario and my own, going into SMKAS. And before we get to the match that we're going to analyze specifically, I wanted to provide a little bit of context of what happened in the event leading up to this point. So I'm just going to now switch to the Excel results sheet, and I'm already on match race, but to briefly mention the 2 modes that happened before that. In time trial, Mario made it to the final in what was perhaps the strongest time trial podium ever. And I say that really, uh, I genuinely believe that that may have been the strongest time trial top 3 we've ever seen at a championship. Um,
Yeah, that was really crazy.
and so Mario got a silver there. I finished fourth. I had no chance compared to the top 3 that year. But I was still, that was the best rank that I could have achieved given the circumstances. In battle mode, Mario alluded to it briefly a little while ago, but he fell short at 5th place. So in a double elimination bracket, you have a tie between 5th and 6th, also known as when you lose in lower quarters. And I managed to stag bronze medal in that mode. So we each already had 1 medal going into match race on the 3rd day. And it was, I would say, for both of us, it was a pretty decent championship thus far. Perhaps better for me than for Mario, and based on our relative expectations going into the event. And then we arrived at the best mode, PAL Match Race.
I
And
agree.
in group stage, something quite interesting happened, which you can see on the screen. Mario, myself, but also Carol were all undefeated. So we played 11 matches against the 11 other players that were in this group stage. So we
I
only
didn't
had
remember that.
yeah, we only had 12 players for match race. And across our 11 matches, all three of us went undefeated. So the way group stage matches work is that for match race, we play 4 random tracks. So if each player wins 2, then it's a draw. And indeed, what happened is that Carol, Mario, and I all had draws between each other. And then we had one additional draw to other players in the group, which meant that we all had the exact same win, draw, loss score. And the tiebreaker was who scored the most points across all matches. And in this case, Carol won one additional track relative to Mario, and I was a little ways behind.
Of course.
So that meant that Carol, aka SMK Machine in chat, finished first in the group. Mario finished second, and I finished third. This meant that the overall bracket looked like this, and hopefully you can see what's going on here. But so we started instead of our usual top 16 for KO stages at championships, because we had a reduced field, it was only a top 8, which meant that immediately we started in upper quarters, which is this section that you can see over here that I'm highlighting. And below this gray bar is the lower bracket. So once you lose up here in the upper bracket, you get sent to the lower bracket. Now, as far as our matches went, I remember I had a very tough 5-4 victory versus Aaron. If I remember correctly, I was down 4-1. So I had to make quite a comeback there to win that match. Meanwhile, Mario cruised along to a 5-0 victory against Martin, who is no walk in the park, I would say. And that meant that because we were second and third in group stage, we had to face each other in the upper semifinal. And I got destroyed. Mario just obliterated me 7-2 in this match. And coincidentally, I kid you not, this is the only match of this entire KO stage for which we do not have preserved footage. All matches in this top 8 were streamed, including this one, this upper semifinal. But due to some technicalities during the event, this particular match ended up getting played on a different channel, and we forgot to save the broadcast because we completely forgot that it had been played on a different channel, and we we don't have that footage, so you'll never get to see just how badly Mario beat me that day.
Yes, that's
And
very
that
sad
match.
because, to be honest, I didn't really remember who I beat before. I I kind of remember that I beat Carol in the upper semi, but well, no, that's not upper semi. That's winner. Is it winner final? Winner semi? Oh, I never remember. Whatever. But if you had asked who did you beat just before Carol, my answer would certainly not have been you, and certainly not 7-2.
Yeah, it was very one-sided.
Yeah.
And then, as you mentioned, you went on in the upper final. So the labels are actually incorrect. Don't ignore what it says up here because it's wrong. So this is the upper final, and both players in the upper final are guaranteed to be on the podium. And Mario won over Carol 9-7, as you can see.
We have footage for that one, right?
We have footage for every other match except for the 7-2. So I don't know if you want to mention anything else there, but at this point, Mario was in the grand final and guaranteed at least a silver medal.
After winning against Martin, I think I felt like, okay, I'm in a good shape today because Martin is always a very, very tough opponent, especially at this kind of stage. I remember 2 years before I had really had to fight very hard against him in Battle Mode Barrage. And Martin actually is one of the toughest opponents I've faced in the previous years. He defeated me in Japan, actually, 5-4 in match race. I think last CDM I had to fight him twice in probably lower quarter, something like that. And every time it came to the very, very last round. So winning 5-0 against a tough opponent like him is something that helps confidence a lot. And then I fought you, and I didn't know how good you had started to become in match race at that point, even if I faced you in the group stage. And I think probably winning 7-2 against you probably gave me too much confidence for the first final after that. But I don't remember. I really don't remember that match, and that's really a shame
I
because
don't either.
I remember fighting Carol. I remember having a close fight against Carol, and I don't have a single recollection of that game. That's very lame.
Yeah, and you'll never be able to watch it back, unfortunately. Unlike all of these
Maybe
other
actually,
matches.
maybe actually you're the one who won 7-2. We never know.
Oh no, I can assure you, I lost that match very badly. I don't remember anything other than just feeling like, oh wow, I got crushed in that match. So yeah, you were relaxed. You beat Carol 9-7. You were in the grand finals, and you had to wait for a while to see who you were going to
Oh yeah.
face. And I had a little bit more work ahead of me. So first, I played against Jarmu in lower quarters and won 7-4. I then played in the lower semifinal to see who would get the last spot on the podium. I won that 9-5. And then I played against Carol and won 9-7. So Carol finishes with a bronze medal after losing 7-9 in 2 consecutive matches to Mario and to myself. And that means that the grand final is now Mario versus Lafungo.
Finally.
Big surprise. And that's where we
Yeah.
arrive at the match we're going to analyze today. It only took us, 30 minutes of context to get to this point. But, that's part of the fun.
Context matters.
Yeah, context matters, of course. So it was time for the grand final. And if I remember correctly, I was feeling really hot, like as in like playing well. And I just wanted to get going. I wanted to play. So
Mhm.
normally when you're actually, well, this is our first year doing lower bracket. So people didn't really know what to expect or how things went. I had a lot of experience from Smash Bros tournaments, so I knew how the dynamics worked in a lot of ways that other SMK players didn't. And typically, we allow for breaks. So typically, we'll have like a 5-minute break between rounds, just let people cool off a little bit, etc. I didn't want any of that. I was
Yeah.
I was in full on like let's play mode.
Yeah, and I
So
didn't need a break because I had suffered a 1 or 2 hour break in the
yes,
meantime.
yeah,
So
you had to wait a long time. So I had just played 3 matches in a row, basically nonstop, and I went over to Mario and I said, "Let's play." And
yeah,
so
I,
that
I
brings
kind of
us,
remember that.
yeah,
Yeah, let's do this.
that brings us to the match. And we're back to the video.
So that was the first to 9, right?
Yes. So, oh yeah, I guess that is something we didn't talk about. The match is first to 9. The way double elimination works is that you must lose twice to be eliminated from the tournament, and whoever's left at the end is the gold medalist, the one who wins the bracket. Uh, because I had already lost against Mario earlier, I had 1 loss. Mario had 0 losses. So we play a first to 9. So where each track is worth 1 point. If I win this first to 9, then we have to play a second first to 9 because each of us has 1 loss in the KO stage. If Mario wins this first to 9, he gets the gold medal. And if I win this first to 9, then we play a second one, and whoever wins the second one gets the gold medal. Hopefully
And you
that's
really
clear.
wanted to play 5 matches in a row.
Yeah, I was ready. I didn't want to break. I said, let's go. Let's do this. So now we'll start with the actual match analysis portion of this. I hope you all enjoyed the context. And let's get into it. So
We started with MC4.
we started with
Oh
a
no.
console reset, apparently.
Okay. Because I've started so many final phase runs in match race on MC4. It's crazy.
I had a little bit of volume, but I'm just going to mute the comms entirely.
Good old COVID times when we both had masks while playing.
Yes. So this was a requirement in the venue, or
Yep.
actually it's part of our event as well. We just enforced mask wearing for everyone. It might have been score clearing indeed. This is possible.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
Let's see. I don't know how long this actually takes. Oh, it looks like there's a little bit of setup time, so we're gonna skip forward.
I haven't seen you wearing that Team USA shirt in a while.
It's been a while. So, just as a recap, Mario, who's on the left in the player cam, is also player one. So that is the top screen. He's playing as DK Jr. I am on the right side of the player cam. I'm also player two on the bottom screen. I'm playing Bowser. So we're starting off with the GV1, and GV1 immediately. Mario knows this. I know this. It's all about clashing into each other at the start. So
Mm.
assuming we both get the zoom start, you can see that Mario is already angled towards the right because he is prepared for us to attack each other with body blows. But of course, the question is, will we both get the zoom start?
It's a Pasum
And
style,
as
so
we
it's
do,
pretty hard to get.
yes.
We got
And
it.
notice the difference in aggression. So
Yeah.
I think I'm even gonna slow this down a little bit. So here, this is perhaps
Maybe
a
it's
little
a
bit
bit
slow,
too slow.
little bit too slow. Let's do half speed. Yeah, sure. You can see just how aggressive. So I haven't veered much left, but Mario is full right, full sending it.
Immediately,
It's
yeah.
immediately, and you can see going for the double bonk, and there going for a third again. That going for the third hit is very risky. That said, it's worth noting that the player one, so top screen on GV1, has a slight advantage for the body blows here, because typically if you clash while in a turn, the person on the inside will typically have the advantage and will often force the outside player to dead stop. But in this case, that didn't happen. And it's worth so also very important for any match racetrack is the first item pickup. What is the duel here? So we see Mario's gone a little bit wide because of the clash. He gets a banana. I get a red shell. What's the game plan, Mario? Because
I
you're
think
you're at a clear disadvantage here.
yeah, I think at that moment my main goal is to make sure I'm not too much in front of you because I don't think the banana would be enough to protect myself. And I think the best thing to do is just to stay very very close to you because it's not a good track to fire red shells. You don't have any sand or grass or whatever to make red shells go a U-turn. So I think I'm not trying to escape. I think I'm just trying to stay close to you.
In my position, I think there are generally two major options that you can go for with this red shell. You can either try to continue driving at full speed and just assume they're going to be in front of you or like get a break, or you can slow down immediately to try to catch them still driving at full speed. So here, you get a tap, which I find very interesting because it means that I'm at 0 coins. And if you get hit at 0 coins, you spin out.
Oh yeah, because I
So
hit you many
here,
times.
yeah, but
Okay.
I get to pick
Okay.
up one and I slow down. So you can see here, I get the red, you're coming in, we have the tap, and then I've already slowed down a bit from the hit, and I slow down some more and let you pass and get the red shell hit. So at this
Yeah,
point,
you're
the track is basically over, just off of that
well.
initial interaction.
Basically, I won't say that because I'm not that far away. You can get a lightning. You can
Yes,
get very bad items while leading, but you have a feather,
of course you
and
can
I
get
get
a
a red
lightning.
shell blow.
Yes.
The
So
items are really not good for me at that moment.
I have a question for you. Do you go
Yes.
for platform jumps here or not?
In Palma Trace with boosts, I do.
Yeah.
I remember in the 2021 final, I surely did. But with 1 coin only, I don't think I go for it. I think my plan at the moment is to get more coins to make sure I can get the platform jump properly. And I think here I might go after the second item box, I guess.
Yep. Makes sense. So I get the
Yes.
free platform jump.
And I get a shroom,
Pick up a
so
shroom.
okay. So that's a good comeback because I'm not too far away.
Yeah,
And I get
but
a
noticeably,
fair.
sorry, you are not in red shell range currently.
Absolutely not.
So this feather is
Even with the
actually
feather, I'm
relevant.
not.
Yeah. Yeah, you need
I think I need two shrooms or lightning here.
this ghost is
That box is
useless.
very bad.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that initial lap one reds are extremely strong in
Mhm.
match or in SMK in general. And you can see that unless Mario gets a lightning here, which he doesn't,
I don't. Yeah.
I've effectively won this track just from that red shell.
I,
So
I tried to go for that, but I was really too far away. It
no,
was
there was
absolutely impossible to recover. I think I
yeah.
needed 2 shrooms in the 2 last laps to recover properly.
So
Oh,
GV2
here comes GV2.
zoom start extremely important.
Extremely important because the only possible shortcut here is very hard to get. So if both players get the zoom start or get the same kind of start, we can have a fight. But if one of them gets a zoom start and the other doesn't, the track is basically over,
Yeah,
except if you get a lightning or a feather. And even feather is not a guaranteed comeback. So
not at all. So here, thankfully, we both got the zoom start, and an interesting scenario plays out because Mario gets a ghost
yeah,
on the
and getting a ghost when
lap
you
one,
lead.
and so
Basically, if you get a ghost when you lead in match race, I won't say you don't have the right to lose the track, but you really have to use your ghost very carefully
yep,
because you might want to prevent your opponent from using a shortcut. Because if they get, let's say, a shroom or a feather on tracks where shortcuts are possible, instead, it's really interesting to try to prevent them from doing it at the right moment. But the problem is you have most of the time to save that ghost just in case the other one gets lightning. And on a track like this, you really have to keep it.
absolutely. Now, what I think is worth noting from my perspective is that in this sort of position, as soon as I see my opponent get a ghost on lap one, my mentality switches entirely to okay, this is a race. Like I need
Mm,
to pass this person by
yep.
driving. I'm not trying to rely on any items. I just want to attack the track to try to come back and pressure them and try to pass them just on pure driving. So here also coins matter quite a bit. So you
Then
can see I pick up. I have a small advantage.
well, all I have to do is to make sure I get the zipper on every lap,
Yeah,
and of
I
course
get
stealing
it
your
goes.
ghost because you got the
But
ghost, and
so notice that
it's a big blooper.
yeah. So on lap one, I had this nanner, and
Yeah.
I knew you weren't going to steal it. So I have an opportunity to set up. And here, this is where on lap one, I've already set up part of like a pressure trap for Mario because I drop it here right at
Yeah,
the
exactly.
apex of the turn, which is not undodgeable. So you can see, think, yeah. So you can see the item disappears from my item box. So even though
That's a
you
really
can't,
good trap
yeah,
because since you put it on the apex of the turn, I have to go wide to avoid it, especially in that one because it's really risky to
yeah,
try to go between the wall and the banana. So if I go wide, you can get much closer to me, especially
indeed.
considering this is a race now.
And also the positioning of the banana is such that it is possible to go on the inside of the banana. And that is actually important because if I just put it as tight as possible, then the only option is to go around the banana and we're
Mm.
effectively taking the same line. There isn't much risk reward involved or pressure. But by dropping it here, there is a path on the inside, but it's ambiguous enough that you actually have to make a decision as to whether you're going to go around or inside of it. And in addition to that, if you go on the inside, if you go a little bit wide, you're going to clip it. So this gives me more potential to come back on you through racing, even if you don't hit the banana. Because let's say you decide to go wide and I cut on the inside, then suddenly I've gained a lot of time on you. So then that banana is there, and you also may not even necessarily be aware that it's there right now.
I probably didn't pay attention. The only thing I'm paying attention to is what item you get, and
Yeah,
I'm stealing it almost instantly. I see you get a ghost. I'm like, okay, you won't use that. I have to keep a ghost
yeah. So
because you're so close to me that you can pass me at any time, and if you still have the ghost in first position, it's over.
absolutely, yeah. And it's worth thinking about what is Mario's focus at this point in the track, because as we're going around these turns, right, he is fully focused on not crashing, obviously, but especially on what my item is going to be. So my item doesn't lock in until this point right here. So he's seen the item blink, and at this point he still hasn't seen the banana. So unless Mario was
Lakitu is hiding the banana, actually.
yes, Lakitu is hiding the banana, so it's you can just barely see it technically here. Uh, but there's in most scenarios, Mario is probably not going to even be aware that the banana is there. And this is relevant because by the time his focus, so he's going to steal the ghost. So once it locks in, you can see here, Mario has activated the ghost. And at this point, his focus can shift back towards paying attention to where the track is. And this is the first moment where he might see where the banana is. And immediately he has to make a decision and commit, okay, what line am I taking? Because, oh shit, that banana is actually in a dangerous spot. And so you can see there's a slight hesitation in the line taken.
Yeah. And there's
Right?
also something you maybe didn't know about me, but this is a turn I already hate in SMK. I never was able to take it properly, the old non-NBT way
The
with
non
commas.
what? I'm sorry, we don't recognize that term on this channel.
Because this is a very slippery turn, and there was a way to drift around the corner very properly, which I never mastered in my life. So every time I'm taking this corner, I'm going very wide. So I don't know if you knew this, if you
I
knew I had
I did
some kind
not.
of weak point. Okay, because you really put it in the right way for me to hit it.
And so that's a huge payoff for me because I managed to pass you and neutralize your ghost in the lead. So the race isn't entirely over. So I
No, it's not
dodged
over.
the items to make sure
Well,
you don't get a ghost deal.
you still can crash. I
Yeah,
still can get a lightning, but
yeah,
well, even taking the platform jump at every lap doesn't is not enough because it's a very weak
yeah.
platform jump. I even
Tap the
hit a wall
wall. Yeah.
here. I get very bad items.
So even though it wasn't entirely over, it is worth noting that that was a huge turning point in the
Mhm.
expected outcome of the track because you had a very
Absolutely.
advantageous position up until that point, and then hitting the banana, you were very disadvantaged.
Yeah, I tried to fire the red bag, but of course you had a feather, and so you're reading 2-0. And I think this is very important because even if it's a well, we played the GV1, 2, and 3 first.
Yeah, apparently so.
Okay.
Oh, first miss zoom.
And you see, this is a moment I think I'm psychologically starting to weaken a bit because you're leading. I'm doing
Oh, yeah,
very. I'm really taking the bad decisions. I'm not doing things properly because I'm missing the easiest platform jump of the game at
yeah.
that moment.
After missing
Yeah.
the zoom start, you went for the platform jump.
Actually, this is really hard to do in PAL. In GP it works, but in PAL match race I don't think it works. So you almost lapping me.
Yes. So even though you have a feather and that allows for a nice shortcut on this track, it is not enough to come back.
It's interesting to see you took the risk of the long boost, considering I already had put a wall in the hole.
Yeah, so
You don't have to do it because your lead is really strong at that moment.
right. So in this position, there's a decision for both of us of do we go for the long boost? And for
Mhm.
you, it's sort of a given that you have to go for it, indeed, because you need to try to make up some ground. And in my position, uh, the safe approach is to not go for the long boost, as you're suggesting.
Yeah,
Ho-
but I think at some point it's really important to impress your opponent, to prove that you're in good shape, to prove that you can do stuff. You're leading 2-0. I made mistakes. If you're showing that you can do this despite the walls being slightly removed, you really can show, okay, I'm stronger than you. I'm gonna win this game. So I think that's a good way to put pressure on your opponent's shoulders.
That is definitely one factor. And in addition to that, there's also a pragmatic perspective on my part, which is that I don't want to allow you to get back in threat range
Mhm.
with the feather. So if I allow you to long boost away, and I don't long boost, then you're gradually going to gain ground on me,
Yep.
and you may get in range for a feather shortcut to be enough once
Especially with
again.
3 laps remaining. Yeah.
Exactly. So this is why here I go for it, and it's pretty close to the one you hit.
Yep.
So there was
I,
indeed
I
some
think
quite a bit
you're
of
tied
risk.
just after me, right?
I think it's maybe one gap.
Yeah, that's the one gap. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the easiest to
Very
see.
close.
Yeah, either way, it worked out. So you decide to burn the feather. I assume you're looking for a lightning at this point.
Yep.
Uh,
And do you know why I did this actually?
no, go ahead.
Well, because I did it once in the past and it worked. It was in 2013, I think. It was the year after Connor Wood beat me 5-0 or 5-2, maybe, in match
Shoutouts
race
to
when I was
Connor.
15. Yeah, shout out Connor. And it was 2-2 when GV3 showed up. I had Feather. He really had a huge lead, and I decided to throw away the Feather to get a Lightning because I had a feeling that the Lightning would be much, much easier to use here. And it worked. So from time to time, if I have the feeling I just can't win with a single feather here, I drop it just in case I get a lightning, and it doesn't seem to work here.
So I think there's a legitimate probabilistic like a justification for that sort of play because especially with GV2, if you feel that the odds of you landing the feather shortcut are very low, then probabilistically, especially if you have the feather like very early on, it may be better. You may have better odds of winning the track by fishing for a lightning than going for
Yep.
the feather. Because you get 4 items. Let's say you have the feather lap 1 and you've crashed or you missed the zoom start, so you need to land the feather in order to win the track. In addition, because you got it on lap 1, your opponent also has time to like drop an item on a zipper or something like that to try to block your feather finish.
True.
And if you're not confident at all in that feather, then getting 4 attempts at a lightning pickup, that may be better odds than you actually landing the feather finish.
Yeah. Plus, it's match race, and I had only 5 coins, and getting that feather shortcut with only 5 coins in match race in Pala match race is really hard.
Yeah. So I can see it. I definitely understand ditching the feather there and trying to fish for a lightning. Or maybe like a red shell or something, at least at first. And yeah, so you're trying to. Ooh. so so
Nice one.
this is a little bit of as the French would say, roublardise, uh,
Yes.
where you're slowing down, you're faking out, going for a long boost, basically just to bother me. I think the goal is to get me to fall off, so that you
Uh,
can regain some ground.
let me be perfectly honest. I don't think I faked going for the long boost. I think I just tried to do it the safe
You,
way and
you
failed.
think you just failed it? Yeah. Well, yeah, you slowed down a bunch because you think you were going for the back wall.
That's 2020 Mario
Yeah,
86. It's
yeah.
not the 21 one. The 21 Mario 86 where I faked it on purpose.
I see.
I actually learned a lot from that game. So
In any case, you mess up the long boost, whether intentionally or not, the setup, and you slow down and you try to do some body blocks. And at this point, I assume
it
it's fair
almost
to
worked.
say, I'm assuming it's fair to say that here the goal is to knock me off the track,
Yep.
right? Because that,
Look at where you land just afterwards.
yeah. So there's contact here. We both hit the bumper, and
Wow, you almost hit right.
I just barely made it. And then also you slow down some more because you have a shroom, and you can use that to
Mm.
push me off the track. But
Yeah, that was
I
cool.
I see this move coming, and so as defense, I just drop a banana in your face. Oh,
It's crazy here in
yeah, yeah,
that small sequence, how many different things both of us can think about
yes,
what the other is gonna do
indeed.
in, I think, 5-6 seconds.
Yeah, I mean not even. But all right, let's rewatch it full speed and continue
Yeah.
what we just discussed. Slow down and
I
then
mean,
the banana
you don't.
drop. Now,
I have 0 coins.
you have
You have
0 coins.
14.
Oh, I went
Oh,
for the push. so, so I see that you're at 0 coins,
yeah.
and so I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna go for the push, mostly out of bad manners because
Which is
I'm
not
winning.
necessary
It
because
is
you're lapping me.
it is totally unnecessary, but I decide to go for the 0 coin hit anyway.
I'm
Uh,
sorry, but if you lost that one, it's 100% mérité.
it would be mérité. But I think what happens here is that because it's the Ghost Valley like finish line blocks, they don't allow you to hop. So I
Mm.
think I got
Mm.
a slightly different trajectory than I was expecting. And in addition to that, the hit had this weird momentum to it that ejected me further. So I slide into you and end up falling off instead of counteracting. But you spin out. You manage to pick
I
up
don't,
a coin
I
and then
don't
get
win a
another.
lot here, and I
No,
get another feather, which is not going to be helpful. So
oh, and you burn it immediately. Wow,
look,
that's a
look,
very
look
fast
how I'm
burn.
using the feather.
That is a very fast burn. Yeah. So, okay, I don't go for long boost because you didn't go for the long boost, and there's no need
I,
for
I
me
mean,
to take
I mean,
the additional
I
risk.
need feather plus lightning. No,
Oh, and
doesn't work.
another fall off. Okay, this
Okay.
one's done. So an interesting GV3, even though I had a very
Well,
strong advantage the entire time.
I think actually the fact that I had stopped playing for 1 hour, maybe 1 hour and a half, and you were on a very, very long streak of games probably explained that big difference at the beginning of the match.
There's definitely something to that, yeah, where when you're in the upper bracket and you have to wait for a long time,
Mhm.
it's hard to be prepared to not be cold going into the start of the match.
Oh, the other two then.
Whereas indeed, I had been playing for more than an hour straight at this
Mm.
point. Yeah, VL2, uh,
Plus, you had pretty long matches because you won
they were fairly long.
9-7,
Yeah.
7-4.
Yep.
Yeah.
We both get the zoom start, and there's an interesting dance here because again, as I mentioned earlier, when there are body blows in a turn, almost always the person who is on the inside will have the advantage
Mhm.
because there's something weird with SMK physics. I mean, there are lots of things weird with SMK physics, but the particular one I have in mind here is that in case of a collision between two carts with angular momentum, so if both players have angular momentum, then the one that taps the inside of the other is going to dead stop his opponent.
Mm,
So you don't want to be on the outside of a turn when coming into
absolutely not.
contact with a player, especially while turning. So
Well,
here, yeah,
I won't say it looks physically logic, but for some reason, every time I see it, I don't know, it does sound logic in my mind. The fact that you're um, pushing your opponent at the outside of the track means you have the advantage. So I'm not really surprised that happens this way.
there's some logic to it, which whether it's sensible logic or not is up for debate. But we're used to it at this point after with all
Yeah,
the hours we
SMK
played.
equals BS, right?
Yeah, exactly. So here, as player two, I'm sort of on the natural outside of the first turn, and I don't want to be there. So that's why I cut in very sharply here. And I'm trying to bait a potential hit on the on Mario as he's turning in.
It's dangerous to go on the inside on VO2 against me. You
Yeah.
probably didn't see what I did to Carol
So,
2 years ago.
indeed, you can push someone in as well. So there's play and counterplay and counterplay. But in this particular the layer we're playing on here, I cut on the inside. Mario goes a little bit wide. We both get the item to see what it's going to be, which can be really important for VL2. I mean, it's always important, but on VL2 the dynamic is different. Frames. So here it's red versus banana. And Mario recognizes this and goes wide. So why is Mario going to go wide here? Because on VL2 there are very few opportunities to fire a red shell, and this spot here is one of
This is
them.
one of the only ones. Maybe it's the best one, I think.
Yeah, so as you can see on the bottom screen, there's a pretty wide open patch of ice, and this is one of the only spots where you can shoot a red at someone. Because if the red comes into contact with a deep water or an ice cube or a wall, it's gone. It fails. And for almost the entirety of VL2, you're driving right on the edge and hopping over these cracks, and a red shell is not going to connect. So here, Mario slows down to try to catch me. But I know that this is likely going to be the outcome, so I'm going to try to escape by jumping over this water crack that you can barely see at the edge of the bottom screen. So take a look what happens. So once again, red versus banana. Mario slows down, he shoots, and actually I didn't commit to trying to escape properly. Like I
You almost had no time. Plus,
Yeah,
it's VL2, so it's really hard because of the slippery conditions to get exactly where you want.
indeed. Now,
Oh,
It's
that's what
still
happened.
VL2, so even connecting with that red shell, as you can see, there are these glorious bananas on VL2, which means that on lap 1, unless you have a feather or a mushroom, you're almost always going to try to go for the leftmost path here, because that's the one
You
that's
actually,
clear.
you actually can escape the right banana. It's
You
really
you
hard to do,
you
but
can, yeah.
it
But the,
actually looks like avoiding the thwomps in BC3 by jumping between the wall and the thwomp. It's almost the same kind of gap.
yeah. That said, a pretty typical play, typical meta play, is to go for this left path. But as we can see, Mario took a strange line and slowed down in order to shoot this red. So he is not in the alignment that he would typically have. So normally
Now
he'd
it
come
was
in from the
hopeful.
left here over the ice blocks, or sorry, over the cracks in the
The
ice.
water.
Yeah, so he would be hopping over in a much more direct line. But here he has to go diagonally to catch that. And so he goes for it and he misses because he's also not at full speed.
The angle was horrible.
It was a really bad angle to make this. This is very difficult, even the best of circumstances, because also the ice is slippery. It's a nightmare to do this properly. Meanwhile, I still have my banana, but I'm at 0 coins, and I try to come in, and I'm trying to come in with speed to try to catch up, uh, but I
What
also
speed if you
fail.
have 0 coin?
Well, I was accelerating, and I drop the nanner there, because I'm saying, okay, we've had a messy start. Let's make it even messier, and I'm now blocking this path. So after dropping the banana here, can you see the banana?
Mm.
Well, okay, you can't see it, but I dropped it. So that means that now all paths are blocked, and we're going to find out. This is very dependent on which items get picked up on lap 2. So at this point, I'm expecting sandbagging. I also need to make sure I pick up coins. So I'm going for some coins. I don't do very well at it, but I pick up 2 at least. And here, oh, yeah,
Wow, you crashed, so I don't even need to
you
sandbag.
don't need to sandbag. Although the bananas are still there in the block, so you need to. I don't know what your strategy is here. So
I think I just hope to get a feather or green or red just to make sure I can avoid them or get rid of one of them.
yeah, so after this crash, yeah, you're just saying, okay, I'm gonna go pick up an item and see what happens.
Mm.
Okay, so we'll see. What do you have? You get a mushroom,
Ah,
which is
very good one.
it's as almost as good as it gets. This is the I would say the
I,
second best item that you could get
I
in position.
think the good thing is I can go on the right, trying to avoid the banana. If I do it, not only I've let the road very very dirty for you and very blocked, and I've saved the mushroom that helps me to get long boost afterwards. So that's a great item to get here.
Yeah. So this is a
'Cause if I
really
hit the
good break for
banana,
you.
I can use the shroom. Yeah.
And I pick up star.
Okay.
Ooh,
And
star. So star
much
is
better item.
normally not good in general in SMK, especially in PAL SMK. But the vanilla lakes are an exception to that rule, where even in PAL, a star is very strong. So here I should activate. I didn't activate there. Yes, maybe I'm
Well,
trying to get closer. Ah, okay.
actually,
Interesting.
the road was unblocked, so you didn't need to fire to use your star too early. I think.
This is true.
To be,
Oh,
to be honest, if I were you, I would
yeah,
probably have wait until the moment I hit the following range of items to
yeah.
use my star at the moment, just in case your opponent puts a banana or something.
I agree with you. I think that this is a tactical mistake on my part because you just shroomed away. Did you slow down? No, okay, you're at full speed, but you're going into the
Not a lot.
snow. So you're gonna lose speed here. I think that what I should have done was just kept this star, indeed, as you're saying, to the item pickups on the next lap and try to
Mm.
charge at you. Because I had a speed advantage right here. I didn't have to activate the star. So in my opinion, this is a strategic mistake on my part. But I'm still coming in. I still get my
They're very close.
lap 2 or position 2 item. I take it very. Oh wow! Wow.
Okay, so
Okay.
that was a pretty ballsy move,
Yeah.
especially considering you stopped your star speed just before. But why taking the advantage this way just at the end of lap 4?
So
That's
what I'm seeing
lap
here
3 maybe.
is I. So first of all, I did not cut in with the star here. I went wide
Mhm.
because I'm assuming I didn't know when the star would end. and I didn't feel comfortable going for a tight line with star mechanics at this point in time. And then I had a weird line here, and I
Oh
think
yeah,
I assumed I clipped the snow, and I was also angled very far left. So I think this was like a emergency shroom of get me out of
sure.
here. Uh, Time to just drive. So here my game plan switches to I'm getting out of here. I missed the
Oh, you missed the
items.
items.
You get a shroom, which is interesting. What do you do with this shroom?
I think I'm gonna long boost it. The problem is if I get a long boost, I'm probably gonna get the items as first, which is not a good thing because I'm not gonna be very, very far away from you.
This is
But
lap 4 though.
yeah, but I think maybe I'm slowing down a bit just to make sure I'm getting a long boost, pass you with a long boost, but still get on the items wide being second. Maybe.
Okay. Well, we'll see what you do.
Definitely not slowing down.
Yep.
Going for the oh maybe actually no okay.
Yeah, you're still in second. And green
Oh
shell.
that's not a great item.
Oh, this is a pressure situation though.
Okay,
Oh, and I
so
drown.
okay.
Oh, wag.
What a gift.
What a gift.
Too bad.
So
Could have been a
here.
very interesting
Oh,
finish.
wow. Yep.
Oh, I went very safe in the end.
So 3-1. You're on the board.
Okay. Well, that helped because 4-0 would have been very, very hard. Okay, MC1.
It's time
Gonna
for
be very
MC1.
interesting. I just want to see, did you get still the zoom starts or not? Okay,
Uh,
so you're leading 5-3 on zoom starts at
Yep.
that point.
Yeah,
You got all of them.
I've gotten all of them, and you missed the last two. I get a
Yeah, so you
red in
got that
lap
red.
1. So typically, I think what I do here, or maybe not in 2020, but my general game plan nowadays would be I would slow down, and by slow down I mean I would drive wide so that I could get a backwards red. Uh, yeah, so because just to reduce the gap just enough that I can fire a red backwards. Because here, this
But
red,
you
ooh,
didn't.
oh wow, that
Oh,
was, oh
interesting one.
whoa, that was a
Yeah,
really
yeah.
interesting backwards red.
I tried to use the banana, but the problem is the angle
Yeah.
made it come on my left
So
and
you
not
can
behind me.
see I instead chose to go wide after the boost, where
Mm-mm.
I'm not attacking the hairpin. So based on like where you are, is you also didn't slow down at all. Guess you assumed that I was already like driving off and not
Yeah,
going for backwards.
I really thought you were not gonna fire it at that moment. Maybe you will have waited for lap 2 to slow down a bit because you really looked like you were gonna try to escape.
Yeah. And instead here I bail out just before and go wide and give myself like a
Mm.
really,
Very
really
late,
wide angle.
very late.
And I fire it, it's
Wow.
almost parallel to the wall. You can sort of see it up here, just
Yeah.
barely. I mean, the video quality is not ideal. Just double check that I'm on. Um, but I fire it like really parallel to the wall as you've just crossed the wall, let's say. And so it comes in. Wow, I'm impressed
Yeah.
by that shot.
I actually can avoid it when it comes because it really comes at me when I have to jump for
Yeah.
the boost. But the
Oh wait.
when she
Still.
comes back, it's almost impossible to avoid. The banana is not enough here.
So
Oh,
first
nice.
bolt of the match here.
So I
Yes.
guess I'm gonna use it.
Okay.
Oh
Trust
yeah,
you.
because you slow down while here, and I still can get the item a second. I really had very poor items apart
Yes.
from the lightning, of course.
Yeah. Not great so far for you.
It's interesting to see that since I missed that boost, I decide, oh, okay,
Oh. Wow. Oh, that green
very
almost hit you. And I
very
and I
surprising. I
go for a
didn't
long
try
boost
to
immediately.
send back.
Oh,
Oh,
what a block. That
that was
that didn't seem very intentional.
no.
Uh, no, it's just your normal line. Yeah. That's just basically a miss on my part.
I think I really relied on my luck on the items here. Oh,
Yeah.
I know, it's powerful, but not enough.
No. It's Pal Star. So 3-2 with one lightning. The MC3. Here we get another
Okay.
clash right at the start. Oh, that was really
Oh,
really violent. Oh, sorry.
yeah.
Yeah. And I almost didn't get an item pickup. But then yes,
Mm,
slow
you,
down.
but you got a very good one.
I got another lap 1 red for me actually. This is I think the third one in the match. And here I'm trying to maintain
I really
speed.
don't want to pass you. That's funny.
No. But I'm also not committing to stop. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, and I think here, yeah, I waited for the wall ride. So
yeah.
here, so you saw, right? Here you get the tap on the wall, and that, or you end up being ahead of me, and then you try to like, okay, get out of the way, but the wall tap pushes you back ahead of me, or like in front of
Yeah, I
me.
wasn't expecting that. I really wanted to stay
So you're
behind
like,
you.
oh, okay, panic, go for the wall ride, and I'm still waiting. So I see you going to this wall. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna fire it. And the timing here is just as you're leaving the wall to fire it there. This is a very unorthodox position. And infinite boost away.
Oh, almost hit by the killer.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm infinitely boosting. All I want to see is, did I go through the? Oh no. Okay, I guess I just stop here.
And the long
Get the
boost.
LB.
Oh wow, that
Course.
green shell
Ooh,
on my
almost
side.
by the green.
And again,
Oh, same.
that
So
green
a big
shell's in a
LB
very
here. Okay.
yeah.
Oh, okay. So I think that one's probably over for me. Oh, yeah.
I lost some control, and then the killer is in a very bad spot here. I try
Oh
to
yeah, you
maintain
had the
Sidus
opportunity.
momentum and just hit it. I probably should have just slowed down,
Okay, so
given
this
the
is interesting
advantage.
because I know you can fire that green shell to my face. I tried to
I
stay
could
behind.
drop it on the zipper to try to
Yeah,
block your infinite boost here. And yeah,
you
that
did
is
it.
what I do. And you were ready for it. So you can see here, you
I'm
charge a
curious to
boost,
see where that
and then
banana
yeah.
landed actually.
Ooh, yeah. Pretty good. Ooh,
Slightly
and you
wide.
get yeah.
Okay, you made
You
a
take the
mistake,
opportunity.
so
No, so you
I
get the
didn't
red.
fire it at that moment.
What happened to me? Why'd Oh, I missed the infinite boost. I didn't actually get a boost charge.
You
So
probably thought you had an infinite boost, but you didn't.
yes.
So
Yeah, so here I think I have an infinite boost. And oh, it ran out. Huh? Did I?
you jumped. Actually, you
Yeah,
just broke it.
I think I just broke the infinite boost. So that was a mistake on my part. Then I see you have a red, so I'm like, okay, time to go to a wall, and you don't
But the
fire.
problem is, yeah,
And then I dead stop here. So that was a big mistake. And then do
that
you
third wall hit was a really huge mistake indeed.
yeah,
Yeah, and so here I could have tried to slow down and fire it backwards, but I think my plan from that point of view is,
just
if you get a
drive.
lightning, I will fire the red LB.
Yeah.
Why did I do that? Oh,
Oh,
okay.
oh, nasty.
Okay, can you rewind this? Because
Yes, yes.
I want to see how I
Hold on.
fired it back. Because you were very far from me. No? Oh
Do
no,
you
okay, I
slow
go
down a
slightly
bit?
wide,
Yeah.
and then yeah, okay.
Interesting.
Oh,
Point
yeah,
for you.
that's pretty interesting comeback because the beginning of the game was really lame for me. That MC3 was not a great track, but I think that yeah, that backwards weird was probably my best move so far.
Little fist pump, or is it a hand stretch? I'm getting some
Yeah.
echo from your side sometimes. My mic.
Oh, do people on the stream hear some echo as well?
I think if I'm here, oh, another miss zoom for you.
Oh,
So I think that's 3 misses for you. And on MC4, that's really not nice. So
and
unless you get a lightning, I should just drive off the win here.
you just have to TT your way.
Yeah, not hit a
That's
killer.
that's actually the most time trial track in match race, I think. Alongside with DP2 maybe. Oh, okay, missed the long boost, so
Yeah, this should be
oh
pretty over.
this is gonna be the path of pain for me.
Shoutouts.
Okay, so if you manage to lose that one with no lightning, I really
Yeah,
wonder
no,
how you did.
no,
How
no,
you're
no.
gonna win that
I
one.
should not be losing this.
Oh, there are killers.
Yeah,
There are
I know.
killers.
But even so, I should be slowing down if there's a killer nearby or something like that.
Well, almost gave up an easy MC4 to Takashi at SMKC, so
It does happen on occasion.
yeah.
Oh, and you use the star to
Oh yeah, very interesting move to clear out the way from the killers,
I think
which are
you were about
the
to hit it and you didn't want to slow down, so you just decided
yeah,
to activate the star.
because the prime is the only obstacle you can hit. So if I remove them,
Yep.
oh, Ghost, of course. Okay,
Very
this is
nice.
by far the track we'll analyze the less.
Yeah, yeah.
because
No,
this is very, very uninteresting.
no one cares about this one. You missed the
Yeah,
zoom start and then didn't get a lightning, so it's over.
and you didn't hit any killer, so
4-3. There are
okay.
tracks like that, you know.
Yeah. So all the MCs in a
Yeah,
row.
all the MCs in a row. Yep. Okay,
Okay,
double
so
zoom
we got
start.
very interesting. What's going?
Ooh,
Oh, okay.
ooh. Okay, now you get the red versus my banana. So,
So the angle I have is
yeah,
very good to fire the red, but I didn't. I
didn't go
decided
for
to
it.
keep it. I think actually my plan is to fire it backwards when I'm reaching the items on lap 2,
So you can get a
because I can throw
zoom.
it on the left. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, and it
Oh,
hits you
wow.
backwards.
What?
Oh,
I
very nice dodge.
I felt I didn't even seem like I was gonna try to dodge it at first,
Yeah.
and then yeah, wow. Okay,
I think the
that's not
fact that you slow down actually in the sand, and I wonder if that helps.
maybe because the red might have overshot. And
Mm.
here I used the star because I had some slowdown. What?
Oh,
What?
you actually hit at the very last frame.
That's crazy. Okay, well,
Okay, so
I think I might have to go for a long boost here, but
I think you
oh,
have,
you go for a long boost.
but I
Interesting.
do it to protect myself, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah,
Another
oh,
clip.
okay.
So a couple small driving mistakes on my side. And okay.
Uh, Trying to get a
Oh
line
no.
frame. Oh, okay. I see what's going
And then you missed the long boost. Oh, terrible.
on. I already wonder if I did that on purpose to make you fire your red just
I
in
doubt it. I think you
some
just
kind of
missed.
anticipation. I don't think so.
I think you just
I think
missed.
it's safer to hit the pipes instead of missing the long boost.
This is true. Oh, and another mistake. Yeah.
Uh,
So lots of mistakes on my side for this one. Make it 4-4.
I think at that moment I'm really happy it's 4-4 considering the poor start I had.
This fair enough. Now time for the worst track in the game.
No, this is an
Oh, I
interesting
see.
point. Oh,
I missed my first zoom start of the entire
on the other
match
one, of
on the
course.
worst track of
Yeah,
the game.
because TT Zoom starts. Come on.
Yeah. But
Says the guy who couldn't get it either.
well, you can see that I think I'm already doing the head bob. Yeah. So if you watch my camera
Yeah, indeed.
as the start with the first light, you can see I do a
Indeed.
little head bob.
Yeah.
I'm using a visual cue for the zoom starts.
Ah, the visual cue.
Well,
It's,
this is not a real visual cue. I had to build my own timing. Oh, I have a ghost. Interesting. So because you got a
you
dead
use
stop,
your ghost.
yeah, because here you get a crazy push on me
Mm,
that I was not expecting at all. And normally, if I had the ghost, as I was saying earlier on GV2, I would just drive and try to outrace you. But because
yeah, probably.
I got stopped here, I just said, okay, well, time to go for the ghost. Oh,
Wow.
okay,
Okay, so you
not great
decided to,
gameplay.
yeah, decided to put the green. Is it
And
on
here,
my? Oh,
sandbag.
okay.
Yeah, and
Sandbag,
I'm still in
and
second.
that didn't work at all.
No. Oh, but
Rain out, and you get the
Star
best.
is really good, and I just drive
Yeah, I
off. Yeah.
guess the best possible items on this track. So
I also break some ice cubes in the process to make the path
I don't
clear.
really get a huge advantage actually.
No, no, because it's PAL stars. So,
Mm.
oh,
Oh,
well, that's just
okay.
pure execution error.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
the wall maybe bounce
because
on the
you
shell.
hit the ice cube at an angle,
Yeah, and of
and then
course
another
it's
green.
over afterwards.
Yeah. Okay. So not much in terms of there's a little bit of strategy going on here,
There's
like the
something
hits.
very interesting in that game. It really, really, really reminds me on some kind of metal strategy I had the year after, which
Yeah.
was never let the other one lead the way.
Oh, you
And
haven't had the
thing
lead
is,
yet.
the thing is, in that game, I think I don't lead at any point. I think you're always leading or there's a draw. Because I remember how much of a key point that was in the final the year after.
I know that that's something that matters to you. I personally don't really pay attention to that stuff.
Another thing that matters for me is to stay pretty warm. And the thing is, I was really cold at the beginning of that game.
And it makes sense also because, again, this was the first year that we did double elimination in
Yeah.
PAL Championship.
Yeah,
And
I wasn't prepared to how much I would have to wait, so
yeah,
I
so
was
this was a completely new experience for you.
yeah, and there were not a lot of people to practice with, so
This is also true, yes.
it didn't help.
Yeah,
Because you were busy with Carrier, you were busy with Sophie, so I couldn't even ask them to be my sparring partners. So
exactly. Yeah. So here, this is a pretty typical Rainbow Road position
yeah,
where uh, Mario is in second and he is within feather range. So if he gets a feather, he can do the shortcut to trigger the finish line on lap 5. So here I get an item, green shell, that allows me to go for a block. And I would assume that I drop this to try to block the feather spot. So that it would be here.
probably.
You get a lightning
Well,
though, as I drop the green.
that's interesting. So I think I'm gonna keep the lightning as long as I can.
Yep.
I mean, if I play it smart, I'm keeping it until lap 5.
Yeah, pretty
So
much, because then it's just a win
or
button.
maybe this is just gonna be pure racing until lap 5.
So, oh, I dropped the banana. Oh, that's
Mm,
a weird spot.
the track is pretty dirty. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, the interesting spot
it's very
because
hard. Yeah, it's at the
it's
inside of that
very
corner
hard
there.
to notice. I think I saw it. I think well, all I have to do is to focus on driving, so I can really focus on what the new obstacles are. Red Road is probably the only track I really can spot every kind of obstacle. You
Yeah,
could have put another banana here,
I could
just
have.
between the zippers. So
The thwomps, you
you
mean?
see here, just before this last zipper, you would have put a banana here. I think it would have been very dangerous.
Potentially. And so, yeah, Sumner asks in the chat, what do I try for now? And the answer is it's sort of a Hail Mary. So there's a banana here on the inside of the corner that Mario is currently at. I've dropped another banana here,
Oh,
right. So
I'm
that
gonna
is
hate
kind
it.
of a dangerous position.
I'm gonna hate it, right?
I think you cut inside. Oh no, you do get it.
Oh
You do hit it. So
no,
I drop it here. Yeah. So right where
did.
my current position is at the bottom. So you can see on the sort of like midway through this corner. So if you're taking like a safe line, you might come into contact with it. But if you were going
Mhm.
sharp, you wouldn't. Because my only option here is to hope that Mario makes a mistake. So I can try to induce a mistake um, by just like dropping items like I've been doing so far. But I also I can't slow down and go for body hits because he can just lightning me at any point. So I just have to kind of hope that something will happen. So here, Mario hits this banana,
Well, at least I
but
don't fall.
and you don't fall off, which means I'm hoping for a shell most likely. Yeah. So I'm gonna hold on to this green shell as you
Oh, okay,
lightning
I
me.
have.
Oh,
Okay,
but you
so I
get a
guess
feather.
now.
So do you go for the feather? It's
Oh,
blocked.
typically, I really yeah.
No,
No.
you don't go
Oh yeah,
for it.
you're still small. You're still small, so yeah.
What?
Oh.
Did you go? What? How did you not get hit by that thwomp?
Wow.
What is this?
Just I mean, I
What?
really
Look,
went
it's there.
between the swamp and you.
That's crazy.
That's
You
miracle.
would have squashed me because I was still
That's
growing.
miracle.
But I can't believe that thwomp didn't hit you. Look at this nonsense.
It's
Look, the
absolutely
top
insane. Look,
screen. It looks like you're inside the thwomp.
exactly.
Well,
I think that
as
was a one friend thing. But can you just go back to the point I see where the shell is, please?
yeah. So
Because I
here,
want to show you something. Yes, here. Okay,
yeah. So here.
just
Oh, it's
it's
hard to
almost
see. I'm trying to find a frame where it's
yeah
more
yeah.
visible.
We can see it. We can see it.
So
Okay.
it's here. Yeah, I have my
Now
cursor on it. Yeah.
the thing is, you are one of the very rare people who know how to block me on Rainbow for feather because almost everyone is putting in too much on the right
Yeah,
because
like
everybody's trying.
they put
Yeah,
it like
exactly.
here.
And the reason I feel like I have almost 100% chance to make this shortcut right is that nobody's trying to block me
Yeah.
at the exact place I go. And when I see that and realize at the same time you're still small, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna win that race just by pure driving because you're gonna be too slow and I'm gonna overtake you.
Yep.
But I don't know. I actually don't know if that worked.
So this is a decision you make. Somehow you don't hit this swamp. I still have a green.
Yeah, and so well, I still have.
You still have the feather. I didn't shoot. Wow.
It's very interesting to see I went on the left
Uh,
because absolutely nobody goes on the left here. I
I
think I went there because I wanted to.
I think it's for the green shot. Like
Yeah, absolutely.
you're like, okay, I'm gonna play it a little bit safer. I wasn't that close to
You
you.
fire it.
Yeah.
You fire it a bit too fast. It's almost impossible to fire a green share here because the finish line is too early.
Yep. Okay, so it's 5-5. Going to Donut Plains 3.
That's already a very, very tight match.
The push, I go into the grass. So do you. And
Oh,
this is the quintessential match race homework
absolutely,
question. This is,
absolutely.
I think, maybe every single time I've done a match race analysis video and DP3 has come up, I've asked this question to the chat. So to anyone watching this, and I will also ask this to Mario to ask him. Let's say it's Donut Plains 3, it's lap 1, and your opponent gets a red shell. What is your game plan? What do you do? Mario?
It's interesting because I'm the one getting the red share here, right?
In this case, you get the red shell.
Well, if you had one, I think I'll try to stay really, not too far behind you because I know where you can fire it backwards, especially in just before the last turn, which is one of the hardest parts to avoid a backward fired red shell. Um, yeah, I think that my plan would be this way, trying to stay the closest possible. But the main problem is going to be that last turn because I really need to be very close. And the problem is, if I'm very close, you can press the brake button and game over then.
So that's if you're in second place. So if
Mhm.
if you as Mario here are playing and I were to get a red shell. But what if you're in my position here, where I'm in first, I'm slightly ahead, and you pick up a red just behind me?
Mhm.
What's your game plan?
Um, in that position, I'm really afraid you're gonna fire it on the bridge to make sure I'm gonna fall into the water. And
Indeed.
so maybe if I see you get a red shell, if I'm a good position enough to break and make sure I'm not going to fall into the water, I think I'm gonna try that.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a very tough one because that's a really hard track to sandbag properly.
exactly. And so the reason I bring this situation up, first of all, it's because it's a Project Timmy classic. Project Timmy was when KVD and I practiced when we were living together in 2018, 2019 or so. And this situation would happen all the time. We would play DP3, we would start, I would get some junk item, and he would get a red shell.
Mm.
And the problem is, on DP3 specifically, as we'll see here, is that let me get a frame that where things are slightly more in focus. The problem is this bridge
Mm.
here.
This bridge is a problem, whatever the situation is
Yeah.
actually.
So the thing is, if your opponent hits you with the red shell in this area, first of all, it's going to throw you into the water. So you're already losing a ton of time because you got hit by a
Mm.
red shell. You've lost 4 or all of your coins. You're in the water. You have to like drag yourself back to the bridge. And because it's PAL and you have really bad acceleration, and there's a break in the bridge right here. We'll discuss what's actually happening in the match afterwards. But there's a break in the bridge here. You drown from getting hit by the red shell.
Mm.
And you're not making it over this gap. You're going to drown again. So you drown a second time, you come up here, and then you need to reaccelerate again. And again, because it's PAL, there are no shortcuts on this track. So you've just lost, effectively. Getting hit by a red shell in this lap 1 situation is a death sentence. So, because this happened all the time, you have to be prepared, or I had to be prepared, to what would happen if my opponent gets a red shell. And that's also why I pose it as homework to anyone who's interested in thinking about match race strategy, because it's actually a really important situation to be prepared for. And as it so happened, at this point in time especially, I was extremely prepared for this outcome. So, as you can see here, I'm in the lead. I'm already going wide. See how wide I am?
Just to make sure I can't
Just
fire it from the
it's
bridge.
I am so prepared for my opponent
Mhm.
to get a red shell here that I don't go tight on this corner. I'm going wide. And I see the red shell and immediately I'm slowing down. And immediately I'm going wide. So you don't get a shot. Like you've overshot me completely.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how much I break. Just like, oh my god, he's already trying to sandbag in lap one.
Yeah, even though sandbagging lap one does nothing, by the way, just to
True.
be clear. You don't get better items. So you
Yes,
basically got caught out.
sandbagging just to make sure you're not first.
Yeah, you got caught out by the fact that I just went wide and you got the red. So you're like, oh, I want to get him. And I'm just already out of there. So you try to turn around
I'm in a very bad position. Oh,
and
you
I have
didn't.
I have speed, so
Oh,
I'm out of here. So I drive off. So I have successfully escaped
oh,
the
yeah,
lap
that
one
was
red
very
shell.
close because that one didn't touch the water. It really hit. I think the
Yeah.
edge of their happy wall.
Yeah. So I had just enough speed and made it past the wall. So because I recognized that you had slowed down a lot, that you were turning around, and this was an opportunity. I'm like, okay, I suppose I could have tried firing the green in this, but I was more concerned as a player without the red shell. I was more concerned about I need to try to escape this very
Yeah,
disadvantageous position.
you didn't have time to think this, by the way, because I was really crossing the bridge that way. So
Exactly. So you're turning around, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to try to drive off. And there's an interesting question from Zip. So, is there a way to kill the red with the water? So, if the red shell comes into contact with deep water, it dies
mm-mm,
and is no
instantly.
longer effective. So, one of the options, something that you can use in this type of situation, is these two corners here, the ones I'm highlighting. So, on the bottom screen, you can see this corner here and this corner here. You can bait a red shell shot to follow you into that area, and then you hop over the deep water here or here, and that will kill the red shell. That's one form of escape. There's also, even if you drown here, so even if you fail the hop and you don't make it across, this gives you enough space to drive and not drown at the gap in the bridge. So it's a disadvantage, but it's less of a problem than if you got hit by the red shell. I, as far as I know, you cannot wall like do a pseudo wall ride on the edge of the bridge. I don't think that works. And if it did, you would need a super specific alignment, and it'd be extremely difficult.
Mm. I don't think I've ever seen anybody trying to edge ride the bridge. It's interesting because I really fired that one early
Yep.
because I already had the feeling I could catch you, but now you were a bit.
Because
Okay,
I'd
so
preserved quite a
time
bit of
for
speed.
stand back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
So that,
getting much closer actually.
yeah. You had some coin advantage, and then you speed up. I clip some grass. You have a long boost opportunity here with this, but
Don't
you
know if
keep
I'm
you
gonna
keep
do
it.
it. I think I'm keeping it just in case I.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
no.
You
Okay.
just wanted to make sure you got a lap two item, or sorry, P2 item. Another shroom. That's pretty nice.
I'm gonna do. No, still not going for it. Just want to get the
Yeah.
closest possible. I think. Yeah.
Get a nanner, and I drop here. I drop
Oh,
the nanner. So
yeah. The
uh,
bridge is very blocked, but
this
there's still a
is
gap.
yeah. So I drop it on the left,
Uh,
which leaves an obvious gap in the middle. But this is also a setup for the following lap. So if
mhm.
I get another green or banana on the following lap, I can now block the center, and Mario
But
is in a very difficult position.
I have green, so I also can block it for you first.
You can, but
But I
why?
didn't.
Oh, no, you didn't.
So we are trying to fire it now. Oh yeah.
Ooh, nah,
Now the
I don't
angle
know
was
about
not
that
good
shot.
enough.
So here I go really wide around it. I just get coins. So
And I got another green, so it's over. Okay.
oh
Oh,
yeah, you messed up. That's also pressure from the items. It's
yep.
pressure from you trying to get
I went
into green
so
shot
close
range,
to the green.
and also uh yeah, just trying to catch up.
Classic.
Oh, it's 6-5. It's not match point yet because this is
Mhm.
first to 9. On BC3.
Oh, BC3 gonna takes 10 minutes to analyze. Or maybe less, depends on the items and the outcome.
Double zoom start. Something
Uh,
I find really difficult with BC3 is
mm,
what kind of body blows do you go for when both players
oh
get
yeah.
the zoom start? Because it's very difficult to keep full speed through this corner. First of all,
Actually,
you can like hit
yeah,
someone
sorry.
into the wall here or into the wall here. And even if you make it across, the road narrows. You can see it up here.
Mhm.
The wall comes in here and on this side as well, and you have to go through a narrower passageway, and it's very difficult to get through this whole section at full speed.
I
Sorry,
actually think if you're player 2 here, and if your opponent's hitting you in the main straight just after the zoom start,
yep.
just as you did, I think you can recover much, much better than player 1 because you have a less tight turn to get, and you can get, I think, the path much, much better afterwards, which
But
is exactly what you did.
but there's also a mind game here because if you're player 1 and you decide not to go for a body blow,
Mm.
just like okay, I'm just going to try to take the turn, maybe even take the turn on the inside to get a dead stop on my opponent as they like try to turn in. Then if P2 attacks P1 and goes for a body blow when they
Mm.
didn't, then they get rammed right into this wall and they lose.
Which
So
is much worse.
which is much worse for player 1. So there's definitely a mind game component here as to what you do as both players in this
Mm.
opening. And most of the time it leads to like a double crash right at the entrance of the tunnel. It's very common.
I don't remember having seen a double clean
So,
first lap
oh,
from two top
wow,
players here.
wow,
You almost hit
that's
the.
like as close as it gets. So
Mhm.
here, right, Mario goes for a push, and I'm not really like I'm not committing to a push here.
Mhm.
So I stay very neutral. The hop I do neutralizes his push pretty significantly and gives me a good line through the corner. Meanwhile, Mario is not in a good spot to make this turn. So he slows down or could have gone for a wall rebound and still makes it through. There was almost second contact, I believe.
Mhm.
Right, that's what you're talking about. There, that was almost second
Yeah.
contact, but then we make it through.
Well, almost hit by the care, so I had
Yeah,
to hit the board. But that's a very, very long way to go. It doesn't matter if you crash on the opener on BC3, I think, because this is
no,
a track when
so much
anybody
so
can
much
make
can happen
mistakes.
on this track. Yeah,
Plus, it's match race, so you still have the fourth rounds. It's not GP.
exactly.
So, two killers, fourth rounds,
Oh, you get a feather.
feather shortcuts from the other side, of course. So,
Oh, you
okay,
take the
that's interesting.
green.
Do I get the? Okay, I still get the
No,
zipper. I think I'm far away enough to use my feather and still
yeah,
be second, but pretty closer
it's
to you.
close. Oh, and I make a mistake.
That's interesting. Yeah.
So this, oh, the concrete round.
So
Oh,
I
I
think
hit
maybe
my own green.
what a
I
series of bleepers.
there's a lot of blue. I mean, that is fairly typical for BC3, but I had dropped this green
Yeah.
the previous lap, and I think I didn't know which lane to commit for, and then I just went in
Wow,
here.
it's
Uh,
horrible to see where it is.
yeah,
Actually, I wasn't expecting it to be here.
that's a really bad spot. I got myself on that one. So I think you're still in range. Although I got the zipper, you're
Um,
hitting bumpers, so it's pretty close for the feather.
well,
Um,
the thing is, if I do it in lap 4, I'm in a good range to fight you
yeah,
properly. It's
yeah.
gonna be very,
So you
very
go for it.
close.
Oh,
And
you
no,
don't.
I'm still keeping it for lap 5.
Interesting.
Maybe I,
Oh, and another. Yeah.
maybe I was gonna say maybe I'm expecting you to do a mistake, but no, it's
Here,
absolutely over.
I
Unless you
I
get
did. What? I didn't even drop a green to try to block the feather.
that's
This
yeah.
is
I think you consider you have
enough
a
of a
big
lead. Yeah.
advantage enough. So yeah, I'm gonna try
Next.
the impossible one in PAL. Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I
You even
was
you went for
I
match
was
strats the
considering
walnut.
this. Actually, it can work in PAL, but with 10 coins, and it's some kind of miracle if you hit it in the end. So
So
oh, your favorite track.
7.5 DP2. I don't know if it's my favorite track, but I definitely like it a lot more than you do. You went for a triple hit.
I
Uh,
think you like it as much as I like VL1 and vice versa.
perhaps.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Look how disgusting the I don't know what this is, like the aliasing or whatever, the
It's just
interlacing.
disgusting.
It's awful. Anyway, so
And to think there are people like Gas who like both tracks.
crazy, crazy. There are some crazy people in this world. So here you go for the triple hit. See, you're trying to cut me off as I come in, and I'm actually surprised we didn't make contact. But this would have most likely dead stopped me. And this is a fun little mind game here as well. Is once you have the green shell, what do we do, right?
Mm-mm.
So in my case, I try to keep full speed and just try to drive, but try not to give you an angle on the shot.
I think
Here,
my plan here is trying
oh,
to fire. I was gonna
oh,
consider firing it to put you in the water, but it doesn't work.
uh, then I'm assuming there'll be a
Uh,
sandbag here. Yeah, you're already
oh,
starting.
already. Well, I
I
don't. Oh, okay.
so
That wall hit wasn't intentional, but slowing down before was not for sandbagging. I just wanted you to hit me, then to be hit by the killers. I
okay,
think that was my
interesting.
plan.
Yeah, okay, so there wasn't even sandbagging yet. So here we're approaching what I'm assuming is going to be a sandbag.
Oh yeah.
And it's worth noting that I have a coin advantage. This is the type of thing that I do pay
Mhm.
attention to. Because if it comes down to it, I will try to zero coin my opponent if there's like a very committed. So, oh, wow,
Oh, you
okay.
don't.
So I respond to the fact that, so I'm sure I was prepared to sandbag, but because you hit the wall here and dead stop, I assume I just decided, okay, time to drive, which I'm not sure I like. Uh,
Oh, that's a bad one. That's a
whoa,
very
yeah,
bad one. Way too early.
I still slowed down. So here, what surprises me with this red shot, is that I don't cut in to the lake. So here, I could have cut in much further to
Mm.
the left to try to hide behind the water, but I don't do that at all, which I find surprising.
Yeah.
Oh, that banana
Oh, yeah. That
forcing a
banana was
slowdown.
very, very hard to avoid.
So potential, I think,
Are you gonna slow down here?
yeah. So here, this is a question when you're in first. Do you sandbag at this distance? If it were NTSC, my answer would be absolutely you sandbag. In
Mm.
PAL, I'm not so sure. I think if I feel confident that I have better driving, so I may actually against you, Mario, I would
Since
probably
it's
just
huge.
drive off.
Yeah.
Um, but it's certainly a decision to be made at this point. And oh, whoa, what
No.
was that a deliberate? I don't know if that was like a driving mistake or what. Oh, I didn't get the boost release, and I just still decide to drive off. Okay, interesting. You get a star, which is not great.
I guess I'm gonna keep it.
Try to
Oh,
attack.
no, you're not close enough. I think I'm gonna wait just before I'm getting close enough. Perhaps just after that turn. Okay,
Oh,
I need to avoid
the killer. Yeah.
the killers because I already had the feeling I could get
And
it by the killer.
you slowed down. Interesting. So here, right? You use the star. You try to break check me, which
Yep.
is very standard star play in this situation. It's not working, so you drive off, but then you're slowing down again before the items. It felt like, or maybe I'm just not used to PAL stars.
No, I think that's just power styles not being powerful enough. I don't think I slowed down.
Okay. Oh wow, I used the shroom there. Okay, a little bit of a panic move, I would say.
Well, I have to send back now.
Yeah.
Which I'm doing, of course, and
Oh oh,
ah,
I get the second place item because I
oh, and you got a
because
very bad second place item.
spin out. So I actually get second place item here because I slowed down unintentionally. I clipped the grass. Like here, I clipped the grass right there. I was like, oh no. And then I have all this sideways momentum that I didn't correct, and then it just spit out. Wow. That's definitely an execution error on my part.
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's a banana throw. Pretty good.
That's pretty funny because there are so many strategy mistakes in that match.
Yeah,
Well, that was the first of our four finals, four finals consecutive. So
this is true. Lots of match race was played over the course of a
yeah.
couple years. So here we both escape at full speed.
Mm, mm, mm. We both have green shells, so who's gonna fire it?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I blink first and drop. Oh, beautiful.
Okay.
So here I try to go for a drop,
Yeah.
but
Which was too late because I was already on the right.
yeah, it was not great. And then here you get a shot because I'm like you can see I've done some like weird correction out of the turn,
Mhm.
so I don't have full control over my cart. So here you see I'm going
It's
back to the
impossible for you
left,
to avoid it.
yeah, and then a very nice shot. But it's BC2, so it's not over. There's the worst killer in the game, which is the one that
Mhm.
is like right next to those 4 thwomps. This double killer pattern can also be tricky. And of course, there's the feather finish potentially.
So am I gonna try to block the path? Okay, I put another green pretty close to the first one.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, so yeah, that's like that's not the feather block. That's just
Yeah,
like
so
a
I
standard.
stole that item from you because I know that's one less chance for you to get an interesting item.
Yeah, I typically
Which
don't
is
go for
something
that
you have
item.
to do when you're in the lead.
I feel very not confident with that maze path, so I typically don't ever go for that item. But you did
Well,
not have you
that's
didn't have that intel.
yeah. I really actually like to drive here because
Yep.
that's my time trial one try path. So
So worth noting, I'm keeping this red shell here, but I don't have any expectation of using it. The only reason I'm keeping it for so long is in case Mario makes a mistake, I'm giving
yeah, in
myself
case of
the
crash, yeah.
maximum amount of time to respond to it. So I likely won't fire it until like the past the finish line, or as
So you
I'm
don't rely on the feather here.
well, I do, but see, I get rid of the red now,
Finally.
and then
Oh,
I'm trying to pick up a
almost
feather. I almost missed the
get another
items.
red. It's interesting because if you get a feather, you're in the good range. So
Yeah, yeah. So it boils down to whether I get a feather here or not. And nope.
and you
So
got
this should
bananas
be
by the tower.
the track for Mario. And
Yeah, I don't.
I failed to fire the banana there. I tried to fire it to the end of the maze. But I messed up because of modded controllers. 7-7,
Classic. Wow.
and we're off to
Was
KB2.
it 9-8? I can't remember that. I can't even remember what the score was. I
You
remember
get
the
to
two.
find out.
I really remember the 21 ones, but that one.
Oh, Ghost in the lead
Okay,
for
so I'm
you.
leading with a ghost,
Oh,
and I got
I hit.
none of us got the boost.
So I actually hit the fish.
Oh yeah.
See, but it gets canceled by the deep water.
Mhm.
I I don't try to pass you with the feather. I find that really interesting. I think so. I think what I would do nowadays is here. Although I hit
Mhm.
the fish, I would try to go left. Oh, but
Yep.
then you could steal the feather. So I think potentially I would try to do an early feather to cut across here and try to do like a little weed cut and hopefully stay ahead. But okay. Oh, do I get the boost? I do get the
Right
boost, yeah.
here, I think my plan is I'm
Ah,
confident enough on coverage 2 because that's one of my best tracks. And
yeah,
if I just drive, yeah, okay, I steal that one to get a long boost,
yeah,
probably.
you kind of had to because I would pass you with the mushroom otherwise.
Mm,
Yeah, Anner.
I was a good long boost. Still very, very short distance. I don't feel very, very
No,
safe
this is
from
not a
pushing
safe
long boost.
position for you.
You have a long
Oh,
boost, so
whoa.
lap
Okay.
so lap 5 is gonna be critical.
Yep.
Depends on the second item you get actually. Oh, this is
Ghost.
bad. No.
Oh,
Oh.
wow.
Okay, so this is match point for me. This is the
This,
first time I'm
yeah,
leading.
this is the first time you're leading in the entire grand final. It's 8-7, which means it is gold medal point for Mario.
I really
Don't look at the
thought
progress bar on the YouTube video. You'll spoil yourselves.
I really thought I didn't lead a single time here.
But you did to get yourself to
Yeah.
gold medal point. And then you missed the zoom start on KB1.
No, because you were leading 3-0, so
Yep, this is true. Okay, double mushroom. Yeah, you use it immediately. Yeah, because at this point you're fishing for an item
so
to
that means I was leading 8-4 in the 12 last rounds.
this is true. Double mushroom. I'm holding on to this
Well,
mushroom just like
considering you still
safety.
have your mushroom, it looks almost impossible for you to lose that one, especially because I'm still far away. Okay, so all I can hope is to. Okay, I missed the slide,
Yeah.
so You're too far away. I can't do anything. Okay, you see how slow I'm trying to be?
Yeah,
You see
because
what
you're
I'm
gonna go
gonna do,
for a
right?
backwards red.
Of course, and
I
fire
cut
it
in here.
now,
Oh,
and it doesn't even hit you,
nope,
so
it doesn't come back.
okay.
So it's 8-8, double match point
I didn't play it well.
with very different stakes.
And it's BC1. That's a good track for a final
BC1.
pound.
I'm uh,
Well,
I'm
for
I'm
time.
pretty bad at BC1 relative to other tracks. Oh, and you miss your zoom again. So you
What?
missed both zooms
Mm,
on gold medal point.
Both gold medal points, yeah. Which track do you consider to be your worst?
I'd say like relative to the field, um, BC1 might be my worst track.
Okay.
Like again, relative terms, right? Because I'll
Okay.
crash more often on I don't know a track like KB2 or
Oh,
VL1.
okay, so here I try to long boost to reduce the gap
Yeah,
and hit the cure.
yeah. So worth noting here, I actually get rid of the red shell
Mm-mm-mm.
um, because well, I'm not entirely sure I agree with that call, but my assumption on the reasoning here is that the distance I'm at, the biggest threat is you getting a feather. So
Mm.
I want to have something to block the feather spots.
Or
And
you need to get a feather for yourself, maybe.
or a feather for myself, but that's not typically how I'll think about these things. And here I pick up a banana. So you can see me go there. I drop the banana
Mm-mm.
on the zipper to block the standard uh, long boost setup for the feather. Worth noting that some players, most notably Sami, will set up to hit this zipper instead for the long boost. And if I'm playing against them, I will go for a drop here. So that's the type of information about your opponent that can be really
Mm-mm.
relevant.
Yeah, because you need to know where the other one is gonna.
Yeah,
That's a very weird spot actually for the long boost.
it is. It's extremely weird, but Sami will consistently go for it. I believe Layla also does the same. So red shell for you, which you discard. And I get a
Interesting.
feather. Okay. I'm assuming I just hold on to it. Might pick up a
You
ghost,
don't need
but
to use it
I don't need to use it.
unless I got one. You don't.
So this is something
Well,
I
maybe
will.
maybe you could have used it to prevent yourself from a lightning strike, but
That's true, but you can also just set up for a long
you,
boost.
you you almost tried to get it
Yeah, I think
on
I
that
think I
track.
went for it, but I just missed,
Mhm.
and so okay, I'm bailing out of it. Wow, double mistake.
I know
So
you really have to go for it because if I get one,
yeah, so here the
yeah,
spacing is really bad for me. Actually, that crash.
no, you
Oh,
don't. Oh,
I burned
what?
it. I think to cancel a ghost. I think so.
Oh,
I think I failed the setup here, or I
mhm.
faked you out on the setup. I don't remember what my reasoning would have been. But once I could no longer go for the feather, I think I decide to burn it just in case you get a
Yeah.
ghost. Because if you get a ghost at the pace, the spacing that we're at, I would have been like in the U-turn when you got the
Mm.
ghost, and I couldn't burn it there, or I would be on the bumper hops and it would be very difficult. So instead, I
Yeah, that's
burn it here, and you have no chance of picking it up, and I don't mess myself up by doing that.
and so you're winning that first round.
Yeah, so it's 9-8. That's the
And so it's
end of
bracket
the
reset.
first match. It's a bracket reset. And now we get to play another first to nine. We're 2 hours into the stream, so good progress.
Yeah, but I think the problem is we spent probably half an hour on the three first tracks.
We did spend a long time on the first tracks.
Yeah.
There's a lot to say there, so I'm just gonna skip forward a bit. Let's see. I think you took a small break. This.
Maybe I took a small break just because I realized you were too much on fire and needed to calm you down, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it was only like 3 minutes anyway. Yeah, we also did half an hour of context. It's true. So as you can see here from like the timings, well, maybe you can't see it fully, but I can tell you that it's about three
Mm-mm.
minutes between the break, which is very small. That's totally fine.
Yep.
Also worth noting that because it's a bracket reset, we swap positions. So now I'm on the left of the player cam, and I will also be player one, still as Bowser, and Mario is now on the right side of the player cam, player two, so he's going to be on the bottom screen as DK Jr. for the second half of this video. Let's see. We start with MC1. I'm not 100% sure this is real. Maybe it's just testing zooms, but I think we're in it. Oh no, you can see from my position.
No,
I,
just
I think you because you had missed the last two of the previous match.
Mm.
So I assume that you said, okay, let me just test. Oh, I got up. Okay, I'm not in the player cam. Yes.
Yeah, I'm the one focusing on the zoom starts.
Okay, so this is a reset.
Yeah,
So
and I'm wearing my mask, so this is the real fight.
yeah, all in all, the pause was about 7 minutes.
Oh, starting with very, very classic match race
CI1.
track. One of
Yeah.
my favorites. The best one in NTSC and one of the best in PAL. Oh,
Double mushroom. So we both immediately go for it, and you get a better one, but there's contact,
wow.
and I slow down. Oh, I missed the item box. So
The fact we hit
CI1 has, yeah, the fact that we both hit each other and like didn't slow down or didn't, we were still at long boost speed, let's say. It's pretty interesting. It's worth noting here the sandbag is quite important because although on Choco Islands the first and second place probability of a feather is the same, you have much higher odds of a mushroom in second place, and that's really important on CI1. So what's also interesting is the way position detection works on this first corner of CI1 is very janky. And it'll take quite some time to update. So if you're second going into the corner, you're likely to keep second place for quite a bit as you like if you drive around here. So here, I'm still in second place, and you could say, oh, I should be in first, but the game still considers me to be in second place, and I should really, really be picking up this item box. Like this is clearly what I was aiming for, and the item box I should be picking up, but I miss it somehow. And you can see here the positions get updated, and now
Yeah.
I'm not getting a second place item. So that actually like can matter quite a bit. And you get a red, so immediately I slow down. You drive off, and here this wide open area is super strong for red shells. So I'm not sure what I go for. You wait a bit. I go for the wall, and I just barely. So this is the same move that I tried on MC2 in the previous match,
But
but
the
in
fact
this
you hit the
case,
wall,
yeah,
you still got hit by the red shell.
in this case it didn't work. I think my timing was slightly off. Yeah, I didn't quite make it to the wall. So big advantage
I,
for Mario.
I still think there was a really lucky hit because you had all reasons in the world not to be hit here.
Yeah, I think I was probably a bit surprised that it didn't work. Yeah, so here star through the off-road, pick up another
But do you
second
get a
place item.
shrimp here? Oh.
But the red,
You
not
can
not
fire
not
it
enough.
far away.
So here I need a shroom or a feather. So what I would normally do is charge a boost, keep the boost charge instead of normally you would just release it on the bumpers in the first corner. But typically what I'll do on lap 5 is keep the boost charge, pick up an item, and see if I get a feather so that I'm ready to go for the finish line feather.
Yeah, because you don't have time to build the
But
boost for the feather in PAL.
yeah, but there I released it, and then I got a mushroom, and it wasn't enough. I didn't have time to, because I got a late item box, but it wouldn't have been enough anyway. That red shell sealed the deal.
Oh, MC4. Okay, you can skip.
Well, do you get your zoom start this time?
Do you get it?
Yeah.
Okay, we both
I think
had
I
it.
think I have one miss zoom start so far in this grand final,
That's
which is
one of
on
my favorite.
it's
Yeah,
on
on the other
VL1.
one, of course.
Ooh, this is interesting.
So
Is
I
this
blocked
double
you,
red v red?
Oh yeah.
What's your game plan here?
Fire it backwards as a hairpin.
At the
Just
hairpin.
hoping it doesn't hit the killer.
Yep. So you say you continue driving full speed around the corner here,
Yep.
and just
I
assume
will
I'm not
try
going to be in
to
range for the red. Yep.
Hmm.
Oh, interesting.
Double.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
wow. Very nice. Because
Yeah.
I hit the pipe.
Hmm.
So I think what I would have done nowadays is as I'm approaching this corner, I think I instead would have tried to angle a shot around this corner to fire at you so that it will potentially hit you or at least disturb you as you're approaching the pipes and the killer. before you have a chance to fire the red backwards. So it'd be a safer shot for me.
Yeah, you
But
waited
here, yeah,
way too long.
yeah, I get outplayed very strongly, and this now should be your track. So fast forward, fast forward. I get a mushroom, fast forward. Okay, did I hit the killer? Oh no, there's
Yeah.
I like the green drop. That's actually a nice spot. Let's talk about it. But you drop it. I don't know why
Mhm.
you drop it. I wouldn't do it in first. I think that's a mistake actually on your part because you have a significant lead. There's no reason for you
Yeah,
to drop the green there. Like I think it's
I
second
just
place.
want to make things complicated for you to catch me.
I think it's a mistake because how am I going to catch you on MC4? Look at the gap, like the advantage you
Yeah,
have.
true. True.
Like you have a significant lead. I'm here, you're all the way back here.
Yeah,
I think
there's
it's a
no reason.
strategic mistake to drop that green. I think you should be trying to keep the track as clear as possible for yourself
Yeah,
and
true.
just drive. And you drop a banana there as well. It's like you're making your own life so much harder by doing this. It increases the risk of you hitting something by a lot. And that's what I need to get back. So you're doing me a favor with this line. Shroom in the lead. Okay.
They say not to go for any items, so I won't make any more mistakes like that.
Yeah, just holding on to the mushroom. It's really hard to pick up item boxes on MC4,
Mm-mm. Well, the
especially after
problem is
the first
you
couple.
can get them, but makes you lose time. So
Yep. Oh, nice long boost.
very very weak one, but still okay. Okay, that's the first time in the two finals I'm leading by 2 points.
Yep. 2-0. And we're
I
back to
really
DP3.
okay. Project Timmy again.
Yeah, will someone get a red shell? Oh, you missed the zoom start.
Mm,
That changes things a lot. This is mostly off the table. So
It's
I
interesting to see
yeah,
that in the 19 last rounds, I'm leading, literally 10 to
yeah.
9,
Yep.
but I missed much more zoom stars than you do.
This is true. Yeah, I mean, it happens.
So you got a greener?
So here, notice that I go wide, and this is in case I get a red shell. Because if I get a red
So you
shell,
can fire
I
it
want to
back, yeah.
fire it backwards when I'm here. So
Yep.
I would stay wide and then fire back across the grass here to try to catch you as you're getting the item boxes. But
Are you sure if you fire it right now, it doesn't go to the water, trying to get the shortest path?
well, at this I would have gone so I cut in a little bit. I would have just if I had seen the red, I would have responded by going further wide, like
Oh, yeah.
maybe even some slowdown, releasing gas. Oh, big mistake on
Oh,
your
that's a
part.
nice gift. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I got an
lag.
item I can't even choose in PAL, so
So yeah, I get rid of the green because I don't want. I want the track to remain as clear as possible.
yeah,
And
because all you have to do here is to drive. You got a
yep,
very, very nice gap. I think you're even safe from a lightning because you're
potentially.
very
Yeah,
far.
yeah. Some coins are even helpful in this case. 'Cause
Well,
I'm
speaking of the lightning on DP3, I don't know if there's a video of it, but I think very interesting SMK old footage to watch is the little final of match race in 2008 between Geo and Sammy. Uh, the very, very final run was on DP3, and Geo got lightning in the very last lap,
ooh.
and I think he was very far away from Sammy.
Or you can
And
also bolt on the bridge.
yeah,
So you can try to backwards red. I see you slowing down.
mm-mm,
I'm
that doesn't
no,
even work. Okay.
doesn't matter. Okay,
I
so
gave that one away from the very first
yes, yeah.
lap.
And sometimes that happens in match race, SMK in general. So MC1.
I love the fact we're not even speaking while watching the start.
Yeah, what is there to say? Oh, I
That
tried to tackle you on
yeah,
the
yeah.
here. You can see the line I'm taking.
Mm-mm.
I'm trying to catch Mario on the inside. So here I go more aggressive than normal. And I'm not going as tight as I
Almost.
could. And I'm just trying to catch him on the inside. Just barely missed. And here, oh, there you go for the tackle.
Mm-mm.
You can see here, just because you're also like had lost some speed
I
already.
actually responded with
Yeah,
almost the same strategy. Didn't
yeah,
work.
that's a nice nanner throw. It's right on the line. And here,
Nanos are
yeah,
are really the thing I'm trying to work on because I have the feeling that very, very few people care about it, and
yeah.
I'm not that kind of people.
Yeah, it's good to have an idea of like where to throw or like how far throws
Mhm.
go because it's very different in PAL and NTSC as well.
Yeah,
Changes with your speed and all that. So this is a clear sandbag position. I have an advantage with the green, um,
very short on the niche, so
and we're going to be going for a sandbag here. So let's see what happens. I've already slowed down. You're also slowing down. What? Uh-huh. Okay, that is not how I would approach that situation
maybe
at all
maybe
nowadays.
maybe you probably thought I had slowed down too much,
I think,
and
yeah,
you tried to.
I think I had assumed that this hit here
Mhm.
slowed you down a lot more than it actually did. And so I decided to drive off, thinking that you had slowed down also at the corner.
Hmm.
Oh,
Okay, so
oh,
I
wow,
decided. Oh, yeah,
that
the
didn't.
same, the same than the Choco Island one.
I'm still amazed because I think I cut in here to the left,
That was that
thinking
was a
the
good
red was.
defensive move actually.
I think the red was going to go here on the angle,
Mhm.
but because look how far in I am. Like how does this not? I guess it must have cleared the wall like and come from over here instead of back here. Wow. Okay. And on
It was
top
a
of that,
very risky raid from me because I
yeah,
didn't think. So you hit the wall first, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Wow.
oh, it hits you while you're in the air, actually. That's ridiculous. It's a very lucky
Wow.
reg.
That's wow. Okay.
It
I'm
should have not hit you.
I'm pretty disgusted that my defense didn't work on this one.
That's an absolute scandal. You looked surprised, actually, on the camera.
Let's do a quick reround. You can
You
see.
were like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
really?
yeah, yeah. He's like, observe. Huh?
Oh. I imagine Takashi saying, huh?
Huh?
Like this.
Yes.
Nani?
And I fire the green to create some chaos because at that point, might as well. So now there's a green bouncing around somewhere.
This is the kind of situation when MC1 is boring because nobody can fire a red at the other one.
Yeah.
All you have to do is pray for lightning.
It's
Or maybe
pretty
shroom.
ideal positioning when you're in first. I don't know why you dropped a banana there. Again, you're creating another obstacle, and it's just like, why?
Huh. Remember, see what you did?
Yeah.
You tried to fire the red exactly the same way you did in the first round.
Yeah. But it was way too ambitious. I had to slow
Yeah,
down
I was
more.
too far away. Yeah,
Yeah. This was never gonna work. Uh,
that looked a bit desperate. Yeah.
a little bit, yeah. I don't think I was really in it. I think maybe the failed red dodge might have gotten to me a little bit. Okay, 3-1.
Okay.
Vanilla Lake 2.
A favorite track. So far we haven't seen DP1.
No. Oh,
Uh,
this
Choco
is
Island 2.
the contrast here is interesting compared to the first VL2 where I talked about, how as
Mhm.
player 2 I cut inside and you went a little bit wide as player 1. You can see here the difference where I adjust my line and then I'm going straight because then I go wide and then we also got another put. Whoa, what a
That was a
push!
very good move.
Yeah,
It's impressive how I didn't lose speed in the end. I
yeah.
bounced back.
That's
Yeah.
a really
Oh,
good
I
defense
was
on your
really
part.
lucky. I was really lucky.
Oh, and I got the squeeze, and you did not drop
Oh,
the banana, so I'm gonna keep the mushroom as safety, I assume.
I tried to throw the banana at you.
Yeah,
Wasn't
it was
that bad,
it
but
was
you
an
were
okay throw.
far away.
I go for the squeeze again, but I fail at that time, so
And I got the
shroom away.
shroom, so it's gonna be.
Long
Yeah, I
boost, yeah.
can.
I really
Can long
don't
boost.
I really don't like this long boost. Like in general. I
Yeah,
don't
that's
I
same.
don't feel it's worth it, especially in PAL.
Yeah, you win very, very, very few
That's
hundred
why
here.
I go for the shroom slide that we saw, where instead of you go right towards the wall for a long boost, and I
Mhm.
say, okay, no, I'm gonna cut left here, then
That's
shroom
probably the best.
slide over the deep water to get a
Yeah, because
also
it makes the item jump much easier,
yep.
and Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
lightning.
okay. Okay.
Oh,
I'm
so,
slightly far away from you at that point, so it's interesting
so
to see how it goes.
yeah, you losing the speed actually makes this interesting because I also have this green that I'm holding on to, uh, basically for when you shrink me, so that I can potentially fire the green at you.
Hmm.
Here,
I'm surprised
do I
actually to see
park?
I used it
Yeah.
now.
Oh.
That was really bad.
I think this is a very poor decision on your part because here
A very, very bad one.
I'm telegraphing very, very clearly my
Of
intent
course.
to go for this. So you
Maybe
should have gone for
I
left
thought,
path.
well, maybe I thought you were so slow I could arrive before you, but no, that was the wrong call,
No, this
definitely.
this is a clear mistake on your part where you should have
Yeah,
just gone for the left path because I
absolutely.
couldn't do anything. Oh, I could try to shoot you as you were exiting it, but
I want
here,
to see
yeah.
after I hit the green if I don't land on you thanks to my speed because I was really close and
Oh,
almost. You see?
yeah, not that far, indeed. Did you hop?
I,
Sorry, just want to see. Did you
I
hop
think
into the green?
I think I do.
Yes, you
Just
do
to
hop into the green to.
I did it. I did it just to make sure I could maybe land on you. Well,
Yeah.
you still have very slow speed, so maybe I can do something in the very last lap. Okay,
Yeah. Did you
you
slow
covered,
down?
so mm,
No, it's just acceleration's poor.
so where does banana land?
Oh,
Oh,
wow, what a shot.
almost,
It denied me an
almost got it.
item as well, which gives you an opportunity with this room. Ah,
Oh, I
but you
got
you
that.
tapped the wall. Yeah.
Mm.
Interesting. So I successfully defend a lightning, although albeit that you really made a decision mistake in my opinion.
Yep,
Um,
that was a very poor use of the lightning.
C2.
Well, still haven't seen
Yeah.
either DP1 or CI2.
Okay,
Well,
so you get a
that's a
feather.
classic trying to body block the other one on BC2.
Yep. Oh, and you okay. Interesting. You immediately
I
go
think
the stop cut.
I think I'm doing this for two reasons. The first one is trying to take a good advantage on track and prevent myself from you getting a ghost and stealing it at the moment I can't use it. Because what you did on BC1 showed how you can get rid of a feather very quickly in the right place. And
Yep,
BC2 is now the track where it's pretty easy to get rid of the feather. So I think the
indeed.
best thing to do was to do that.
And how confident do you feel with the finish line feather?
In 2020, the answer is no.
In that case, like especially with that context, I feel like it was a very solid decision
Yeah.
because something I try to emphasize whenever I talk about strategy or I do these match analyses is there is a you can think of some sort of optimal decision to make,
Mhm.
assuming that both players are perfect and they know exactly what to do at all times. But the reality of SMK is that that is never the case. Um, Players are not perfect. The execution is very difficult, and we don't always make the right decisions. So
No,
I think,
SMK is it is a much more difficult game than it looks actually because every time people watching us playing, they're like, "Oh my god, they're so good at this game." Well, maybe we are, but the problem is it's a game. I think it's one of the games with the best player make the most mistakes.
yeah, it's very difficult, and yeah, mistakes absolutely happen. A big part of competing in SMK is knowing how to manage mistakes when they do happen,
Mhm. Yep.
and also like mitigating them, making it so
So,
that
so
they're
who
less likely.
so who do you think is the best as at mistake management?
Mistake management?
Yeah, because you have to be good in mistake management at SMK.
That's hard to say. I don't know who I would give a shout out to mistake management.
Definitely not Sammy because Sammy
No,
is not programmed to make mistakes. So when
exactly.
he doesn't know how to react.
This is indeed, yes. I think maybe by default it would be me out of the
Yeah,
current top
perhaps.
players, but I don't feel very confident in that answer. But to finish the thought of what I was trying to get
Yep.
at, right? Where something I really advocate for and my approach to SMK is that context matters a lot in terms of what is a good decision, what is a poor decision to make. And I think that's part of what makes it so interesting to play. And for this example, right, what Mario is saying, in a vacuum, if players are perfect, then going for this feather is a rather poor decision, right?
Yep.
Because you have the alternative of going for the finish line feather that saves way more time. But given the context that he explained, that okay, I'm concerned about the ghost, like if I were to get a ghost, then Mario is worried that he wouldn't be able to get rid of it in a proper way without making a mistake. And also, especially at this point in time, he was not confident at all in being able to land the finish feather. With that sort of context, then going for the stop jump here makes sense. Like I think that it is a good decision to make in the context of this match. So that's also something I like to emphasize with these
But
videos.
I'm gonna add another detail. Can you just
Yeah.
rewind
Yep.
to the moment I'm using the feather?
So
I just want to see something.
here.
Okay, stop here.
Yeah.
Okay, I think a perfect item management here would be to break down a bit when I land on the other part
Yep.
and try to get a ghost on the second item box.
Oh yeah, that's a valid point. Yeah. So here
That's
instead of
something I
going
didn't
left,
consider, but that's something I should consider next time I'm using a feather this way.
yeah, so you can slow down intentionally here and then pick up
Mhm.
this item box.
Because I still can get a ghost at that moment, and getting a ghost with that advantage becomes
Yeah.
very, very, very important.
Now, there's one more factor that I'd like to talk about this decision, which is going for this feather means that you avoid this killer. There's a killer
True.
here right at the thwomp wall, which I affectionately refer to as the worst killer in the game. And on lap one, it's not a big deal. But from
Mm-mm.
lap two onwards, the thwomps tend to go down. And
Absolutely.
oftentimes it'll leave you only a small gap here. And it can be extremely difficult to get through without hitting anything.
Yeah, making it the hardest killer to avoid of the
Absolutely.
whole game. Yeah.
Yeah. So going for this feather, especially so in lap one, not as much, but especially lap two onwards, has some bonus value in match race because it allows you to dodge this killer. Just one last thing I wanted to note on this.
Mm-mm. Okay, so are you gonna go for that item or
No,
not? I don't think
I don't go for that item.
it's a bad thing to do if you're P2 in lap one anyway.
Yeah, so even if I were a player who goes for that item box, and realistically I should go for it, I should not do it on lap one, as you're saying, because I want
Mm.
the item odds of going for it lap two, or as a player two, or not player two, second place from lap two onwards. That said, there is one counterpoint to that, which is if I'm playing against you, for example, or Carol, and I know both of you are players who are very attentive to that extra item box and like to get rid of it, I could deliberately go for it in lap one,
Mm.
even though I have worse odds, just because I know that you'll attempt to deny me. That is an option, something to consider.
True.
But at that point in time, I should also be considering, okay, what's the likelihood of a driving mistake on my part? What's the likelihood of a driving mistake on your part if I make you go for that item box to deny me? And these are all factors to take into account when making this sort of decision.
Agreed.
Dodge the killers, nice and easy. Green. What do you do with this green, if anything?
Maybe gonna try to put it just before the killer, but I think it's the problem is if I do this and if you avoid it, if you dodge it properly, it's gonna become a big obstacle for me. So
So part of why I like asking you, especially this type of question, is because I've noticed that you have pretty unorthodox positions for where you drop things. Uh,
mm-mm.
the first time I really noticed this was with Rainbow Road, where you decided to drop an item before. So there's a U-turn that where you do the feather finish to the finish line,
Mm-mm.
uh, and then in the straight afterwards there are two pairs of thwomps. And at some point I saw you drop an item uh, just entering that straight, which I had not seen anyone else do before.
Well, you know, one of the reasons I'm doing this in unorthodox positions, as you
Yep.
mentioned, is probably that I want my opponents to be surprised.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that I'm not an easy to read player.
Yeah.
So I like to be unexpected, an unexpected player. That's that's
Yeah,
my play style.
yeah, absolutely. And I think there's value to that, right? Um, and again, this is one of the things that I really enjoy about SMK competition is how different styles are viable and different approaches to the same scenario can work in different contexts.
Mm-mm.
Oh, you narrowly dodged the green that I drop on lap one. Go back here. This is a position I really like to drop a green here because I find it very difficult to dodge. You're exiting a U-turn and you have to go from this left portion of the track to this right portion of the track, and it can be very awkward. Manage
Yep.
it nicely. Hit a red. And oh, you do drop the green there. So just as you were
I
saying,
I don't think I dropped it. I think I threw it.
did you? Oh,
It's
oh yeah,
impossible to drop it
it
with
looks
some kind of pad. Yeah,
yeah,
with a
it looks like
modified
it's fired.
D-pad, drifting in that.
It's very difficult, yeah.
I won't say it's difficult. I won't say it's impossible. If you
I've
have a modified pad, I
it
don't
no
think you can do it.
it's possible, but you have to be very deliberate with how you press the D-pad.
Yeah.
I very intentionally attempt these and not always, but regularly succeed on the Rainbow Road drop for to block the
Mm,
feather finish. But
yeah.
it is indeed quite difficult. You have to be very
Yeah,
deliberate about it.
and you have to slow down a bit because
Oh,
oh,
a mistake on my part.
well, at least you don't hit the two of them.
Yes.
That might happen very often.
Oh, that green shell.
Oh, that was the green shell I fired. I also like to rely on the random factor on any track. So
Yep.
that's why from time to time, when I know there are a lot of walls, I
Yep.
like to throw green shells because, well, uh, I'm a bit like, yeah, why not? Maybe it can hit the other at any time. Of course, it can hit me as well, but
Yeah, so that's exactly why I don't go for it
I,
when I'm in the
I
lead.
really like to. You know, that's one of the way I'm thinking life generally. I like to create my own luck. So trying to create that kind of situation is something I really enjoy. And I really think I've started to play a lot like Harold Christensen did in the past.
Shout outs to
And
Harold.
yeah, I'm really playing mattress and 2P in general, a bit like him. Uh, and I think that's a very enjoyable way to do it. The absolute anti-Sammy way.
Not Antistar, Anti-Sami.
Yeah, exactly.
So back in the match, I think here we have a very interesting position because I've just
Mm-mm.
dead stopped on the thwomps. And I have a feather, so I can do the finish line cut. But
Yeah.
at
Are you
the
gonna be hit?
current
No.
at
Ooh.
the current position, you have a slight advantage, right?
Yep.
So you cross the finish line here. I'm not in range. You also have a coin advantage, pretty significant.
Oh.
So this is an advantage to you because the feather finish currently is not enough. So I need to try to
Here,
make something happen.
here, all I have to do is to drive correctly and hit the zippers.
Yeah, so here already I'm going for the zipper. I miss it there, but I
I
go
missed
for
the
it
zipper,
because this is
so I can.
relevant for this the threat range, right?
Yeah, so I can miss one zipper. Now that you've missed one.
I actually even if you miss two, potentially that's enough because you have the coin
Mm-mm.
advantage.
Sure.
So you're going faster than I am. But this
Oh.
killer, right? You try to cut in, and this is a very awkward killer position. You can see right here,
Mm.
it's covering the space. So it's going from left towards right and then
Horrible.
covering this space here. So this is an extremely difficult position for Mario because he's also under pressure from me, even though I'm super far away. He is under pressure to maintain the gap so that I am not in range to do the feather finish on lap 5. I see a question from Sumner in the chat. Should I have gone for the stop jump? In my opinion, absolutely not. I should not have gone for the stop jump because I was way too far behind. I need, in my opinion, in my eyes, I have to keep this feather and go for the feather finish. That's like my only option. Technically, I could try to go. Got really lucky you didn't hit the killer, by the way.
Mm-mm.
Technically, I could go for the stop jump and try to farm another feather or a lightning. Those are options. Uh, and perhaps another player would choose to go for those.
Yeah, but not anymore. Now that I've hit the
Yeah, so
killer,
not anymore, right? But when I was on
but
the
before,
up
yeah.
right, like when I'm back here, and I can tell that I'm not in range.
At that moment, yeah, maybe you could have.
There is an argument to be made to going for the
Mhm.
stop feather here to get into threat range for the finish, and then hope that I either get another feather or a lightning. But me personally, as a player, I really don't like going for that type of strategy. So I think, like, I genuinely believe that that is a valid approach, right? There's a solid argument to be made for going for that. But my style means that I would typically not go for that type of decision. It would be very unusual for me. Instead, I'm going to try to close the gap. That's how I'll usually approach this type of scenario.
So what's going to be interesting is if you're
Yeah.
doing it on the very last step. Oh, so I didn't hit the killer. I
No,
already
yeah,
thought I hit it.
you
Okay.
got very lucky.
So I'm going for the item.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm still at 7
So that
coins,
means you can't
and you hit
do the
some
stop
bumpers.
jump. Yep.
So you also hit some bumpers here, which is still relevant. Again, uh, what did I go back?
Yeah, you went back.
Oh, my
Well,
bad. I pressed
I'm
the wrong
hitting
key.
this.
Yeah, so
I'm hitting
here,
the.
yeah, you hit these bumpers, and I am very much in range to do the finish line feather.
Absolutely.
And there's a banana there. I think you
Yeah,
dropped the banana.
but I put it in a very bad spot. I don't think it's
Yeah, this spot is very
no.
bad. It doesn't cover the
Yep.
it doesn't cover any of the correct lines at all.
Actually, the best spot is to put it at the angle in
Yeah,
the
it's
wall.
like right here.
Right.
So actually we can,
Yep.
yeah, here. So you can have the banana like right here. I like to have it based in the middle of the lane. So if you consider
Mhm.
this lane, I try to have the middle just on the line here. That's my typical spot because it blocks a lot of angles. But so that banana is not a concern. I got a good
Okay.
killer pattern. The green didn't hit me. I go for the
Got the
zipper again.
zoom. Okay, so you're in good
No
position.
bumper jumps. Yeah.
If you don't crash anywhere, you have to do
Yeah.
that shortcut.
Yeah. So I'm very much in range. I've successfully, through Mario's error, here I can go
So
for it and I make it.
and you
Nice.
get it. Very nice one.
And you can see from the way I approached it that the banana was not even close,
Yeah, it was
right?
really not in a good
Like
spot.
this banana, I was much closer, as Mario was saying. If the banana had been on the just at the apex of the turn, that would have been a much bigger problem. Here, completely no concern.
And it's interesting in terms of body language that the first time you're celebrating a round that you won.
Yeah, I can look at it.
Look at your fist.
Yeah.
You haven't celebrating a single round since the beginning of the game. So this one looks important. I was leading 3-1. You're coming back to 3-3 with very hard shortcut. So of
Yep,
course you have to be proud of it, and that makes you being back in the game.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, because there's not a trivial finish line.
No,
Even
that
if you
was a
can
really
get,
hard one.
even if you can like achieve a good success rate, it's still in the heat of the moment. It feels really good to land that always. And I see a question from a Zip in the chat.
Mm.
He wonders how much, whether it's a good strategy to go for the item box in the maze as soon as possible. And indeed, so we talked a bit about it at the start of BC2. It's very much a valid strategy. The concern is that uh, because of where it's positioned, it's harder to maintain full speed using that line, especially if you're not used to taking that line in time trial. So it can be quite tricky. There's some risk that you'll crash in there.
Yeah, and you're going quicker than in time trial unless you have 0 coins. So
Yeah. So it can be quite awkward, but there is definitely value for taking out that item box to deny
Mhm.
your opponent from getting it. Oh,
Oh, DP2 again.
yeah. DP2 double zoom start, and
That
we
was
get
some
a
star
bounce.
body
Oh,
block.
get the mushroom. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Oh,
I
wow.
okay. Now that I
That
see
happened
this,
to me.
I remember being like, what the hell just happened here? So here you. Oh,
Okay, I see. I wanted to take the
yeah.
shortcut. I didn't want to block you. I wanted
No.
to take the shortcut.
So this is actually an unintentional move.
Yep.
Mario is cutting in because he wants to do the shroom over here and bounce over the lake. So
You know what's funny here?
Yeah.
is that I absolutely pay zero attention to you.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, he's not here. I'm gonna do the shortcuts. And I think when you hit me, I'm like, why are you here?
Yeah. So I cut in because I'm just trying to do an aggressive boost. And he
That's a very
cuts in
funny
because
one.
he wants to go for this, which, by the way, I don't like this shroom at all. In my opinion, and it's not worth it. I will only ever do it maybe on lap 5.
Mm.
And instead, I will always go for the long boost at the finish line. That's in PAL.
I really don't like that long boost on
I think
DP2.
it's way better. It saves so
Yeah.
much more time. But so here, look at where I end up. What is this nonsense? I'm like, oh, okay, I need to get out of here. Well, I don't clip the water, which is pretty impressive.
Okay,
And
so
nice escape on your
very,
part.
very bad item management from me. Because I should not fire that shroom just to get away from you because the gap is not big.
Yeah,
If you lead the race, oh, okay. Maybe it's a bit bigger because I'm out of range from the red shell.
you're
No,
still
not
you're
even.
still in range for red, and I have a slight
No.
coin advantage.
That was a very, very well. If you don't get any good item, and if I win that one, it's not bad item management, but I really
Now,
think it is.
I disagree with what you just said very strongly. Um, the quality of a decision doesn't depend on the outcome. So
Of
if
course,
it doesn't, so that decision of yours was bad. Like
of course, it was bad.
regardless of whether you win the track or not.
It's a bad decision
Yeah,
that might not have a bad consequence,
this is
but
true.
it's still a
Yeah.
bad decision. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And
Because bad decision and bad acts don't always have bad consequences, but they
exactly.
still
And,
remain bad decisions.
and that's why I needed to call you out when you said
Mhm.
what you said earlier, because
Yeah.
I think it's really important to emphasize that, especially when you're playing a game like SMK that has RNG. There's a lot of randomness involved in the game inherently. In this sense, it's very similar to poker in that
Mm.
the consequences of your actions don't necessarily of your decisions don't necessarily reflect the quality of the decision. As you said now after I called you out, right? You can make a bad decision that has good consequences or a good outcome, and you can also make a good decision that has a bad outcome. And that's just the nature of playing a game with randomness. So when you evaluate your performance or like you're evaluating how you played, it's really important to keep that distinction in mind and to think about, okay, did I make a good decision or not, regardless of what the outcome actually was.
Yeah. You're very well spoken for a 12-year-old.
Thank you. I try my best. Oh, okay, interesting. So he,
That's not sandbagging. That's
no,
really,
no,
really.
yes, like you went wide because you wanted to make sure you didn't get hit
Yep.
by the star.
I
And
probably, yeah,
I'm just
maybe I
wow,
wanted to sandbag as well.
what a
But
turn. Check out how I take this turn. I'm super close to the wall.
wow,
That's some
that's
crazy. Oh,
crazy
what?
one. Oh my god. You know
Wow.
what? That's one of the best star turns I've ever seen.
That's some quality star driving right there. And yeah, so you go wide and slow down as a mix of okay, just get
Mm.
past me, don't hit me with the star, and also sandbag. But you go too wide and you hit a mole
Yeah, that wasn't planned.
or a gopher if you prefer, depending on where you're from, you know. And that just tells me, okay, I'm not even gonna think about sandbagging. I'm just driving
You know
off.
what? That's the bad consequence of my bad decision. Because if I had kept the shroom, I could have escaped this.
This is true. So
Because
you
I have
have
a
a
feather, and
star.
I'm gonna try to replicate your.
Yeah, not nearly as
Okay.
aggressive.
Yeah, but I was clean. That was not
Yeah.
a bad star because you
No,
can
no.
lose so much time with a star
Oh
here.
no,
Okay,
another star.
interesting.
Yeah, it was a clean star, which is that's like the most important thing when you have a star, really,
Yeah, I think
in
I'm gonna
most
try to.
scenarios. Ooh, nice.
Oh, almost. I tried to replicate what you've done actually. A shroom would be interesting now.
Oh,
Oh,
third star. Yeah,
3 stars in a row.
and yet they
The
call you the anti-star.
the problem is that only 3 stars I like in Mario Kart and in
Oh,
GP
yeah, that one you tried to
in the
go even
office.
more aggressive, and you sort of had to.
Well, that's the only thing I could do. Yeah.
So I just won the last 3 in a row, and I'm now
Yep.
leading for the first time in the second match, and I assume that this tilts you a little bit.
Hmm. Well, I'm still okay with being led, but I don't want my opponent to have too many rounds ahead.
Ooh. And
Okay.
this is, I think this
First,
is, oh, and I slowed down already here.
mm-mm.
So you see, I slowed down here.
So
Yeah.
will you throw it
Yeah,
backwards? Yes,
backwards. That was,
but
huh.
yeah, I was too far away. You
You're
couldn't.
you're still too far. I was
Yeah,
too
because
too
I didn't
ambitious on
have
that one.
I didn't have to defend or whatever. So
No,
yeah.
I just went into the wall. So that was a bit of a waste. Well, a bit. It was a waste of a red on my part.
Mm-mm.
But at the
Well,
same
so
time,
that's
MC3 is very much a driving track, so I can just drive off and not be too worried about it.
yeah,
That
but for
that's a big
some
mistake.
reason, exactly what I was gonna happen. What I was gonna say. Sorry. I think that for some reason MC3 is a bit like MC4, where things can happen.
Yeah, yeah. It's
And
more
this is
likely that
actually my
some
thing.
mistake will happen or something.
Yep.
And I cut in too early, hit the hairpin, which gives you a prime opportunity. Yeah, oh, you go for
Uh,
long boost in the lead. You
oh,
don't care.
oh,
I'm out of here.
yeah, I want to run away.
Oh, and I hit another pipe. Yeah, big mistake on my part.
Okay, that's a good save. Hitting the pipe. It's interesting
Another
because
pipe.
every time I'm infinite boosting here, I'm expecting myself to try to go for the full lap because I know I can do it with DK. It's very hard, but I know I can do it.
Yeah,
And I'm very, very surprised I'm not doing it. I think I just want to, yeah, know it's time to do it safe because,
yeah. I accumulate. It's one of those races where I just accumulate driving mistakes.
oh, the green shell was so close, almost hit it.
I don't even know about the star activation. So, oh, and I hit the killer. I missed the zipper. Nah, this is
Just as in a row.
bit of a gift
Remind
on my
me,
part.
yeah,
Sorry, it reminds you what?
okay, back to 4-4.
GV2? Just after you've missed a zoom on MC3. Oh, double. I go for a hit. Double feather. And neither of us want to keep it. We're just both like, all right.
Oh, oh, very interesting. So that's pure GV2.
Yeah.
Very, very close to each other.
You have coin
I
advantage.
saw.
Ah, lightning.
Oh, okay. There won't be any fight here.
No. Yeah, I try to drop a green in your face, but it's just desperation, really.
I think the only interesting thing to see is when I'm gonna use it.
Yeah.
You're trying to do something with your green.
Yeah,
It's funny because I decided to stay away just to make sure I have time enough to react.
but it doesn't really matter.
Uh,
That green died immediately, by the way. Check the shot. Look see, here. It hits like the coin. It doesn't rebound.
oh yeah,
It
because
just
it's
immediately dies. You can see it's upside down here.
yeah, it's between two tiles in
Yeah.
this small gap when it goes directly into the hole. Yeah.
I completely missed the extra items. This is a done track anyway. The green shell was kind of funny, but oh, nice rebound to not get dead
Okay, so
stopped.
this is the moment I've decided. Okay,
I don't even
and I
pick up an
didn't.
item.
I didn't get any item. That's
Neither did I. Yeah, lightning decided. There's basically
yeah.
nothing to do there. And actually, you keeping the lightning to lap 5 is the correct decision because the feather, right?
Especially on a track like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because you can, even if you're mini, you can do long boost feather
Mm-mm.
finish. So it's important to keep that lightning to lap 5 to fully deny your opponent. Okay. Super. Ooh, Ghost in the lead. So this is a race. Ah, no, okay. You decide
Yeah.
not to engage in the race and to just steal the item, steal the mushroom, try to long boost back.
Well, you said Gus in the lead, but I wasn't in the lead.
You weren't in the lead. It was a lap 1 Ghost, is what I meant.
Mm.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
whoa!
Oh,
What a sick
what a
dodge.
dodge!
Okay, so because
What a
you
dodge!
long boost into a red. Wow.
Yeah. Oh,
I don't know
oh.
how intentional this was on my part, to be honest. Because here,
Yeah, you were
sideways,
jumping
I
all along.
snap. Yeah, and it goes into
No,
the deep
I think
water.
you try to defend because that's not a place where you're jumping. So,
Now
oh
let's rewatch here. So I clip the. Oh yeah,
no,
okay. Yeah, yeah. That
you
was
really jump on purpose.
yeah. Well, sick dodge.
So very,
Sandbag?
very.
Yeah, you went.
Oh,
Oh,
I, I,
wow.
I won that sandbag
Oh.
battle and absolutely wasted that trade. Crazy.
So
That
this
was,
that was a big waste of a red. Yeah.
yeah, especially because we both were at slow speed and there was no reason I would waste it this way.
Yeah. So here we were both at low speed. You slowed down even more,
Right.
releasing gas,
I,
and I
yeah.
just drive. I just drove, and then I saw you had the red, and okay, cut into the wall.
Are you too close, maybe? Or is
Yeah,
it the wall?
yeah. No, no, no. It goes past me. Look, check where it goes. See?
Oh, yeah.
It loops in front of
Yeah,
me.
you were. Yeah, you were probably too close. Okay.
This.
I still have a second chance of getting an item.
Yeah.
So,
And
because if I get
you're
another
still in
raid.
second. Oh,
Oh,
second track
okay.
in a row.
Okay.
But there, so I think that was a slight mistake on my part. Well, slight. It was a mistake on my
Like,
part because I just gave you the second place item.
mhm.
I could have slowed down here.
Twice. You actually gave it twice.
I gave it to you twice. Yeah. So here I should not have been giving you this second place item. Obviously, the lightning is like the worst case scenario.
You
But
fired that green. Didn't you want to put it on me?
I'm not sure. Uh, did you did
Oh,
you deny me second place? I thought.
yeah, because I didn't want you to get
Oh
another
yeah,
lightning.
yeah. But I think what happens in my mind is that okay, I thought that because of how the position change triggers happened, I
Mhm.
thought I would be okay to still pick up an item in second because I'm in second up until like
Yeah.
right like here.
Ah,
It's
terrible.
this is where the switch happens.
Oh, what a shitty game.
Yeah.
That is
Oh,
so
the
SMK. So I think maybe I'm gonna try to do what I love the most is keeping the lightning until the very end and use it when I
pull
finish the race.
pull us on
Oh,
or
once again.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
sandbag. Okay, and then you go for a second, yeah, and you get a mushroom. Oh, okay. I guess I'm going for lightning because I've abandoned.
Why going for lightning and
I don't know. I think
destroy your chances to get
I,
another one?
I think I just assumed
Yeah.
I had lost at that point.
Okay,
Okay,
so that's 6-4 for me, but
and the
two
last
lightnings in
two,
a row.
yeah, two lightnings
Yeah,
in
that
a row.
helps.
GV1, very
I
strong
still
push.
can't believe there are two tracks we never played.
Yeah, shroom here. You go for it, and I say nope.
Mhm.
I keep it. Oh, I don't even go for the bump jump. Ghost is not good. Although it does, yeah, it does give me this, so I can feather in. You slow down at all?
You're
Nope.
very, very. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Oh, I got
wow.
it. I got it, actually.
So I think what's happening here, because we've seen this sort of scenario multiple times, where you slow
Mhm.
down for a sandbag, and I keep full speed. And I think what happened here is that, or in 2020, I was inspired by Scoob in the previous year's match race, so CDM 2019 and possibly 18 as well, where he played finals against Sami, and instead of uh, committing to a sandbag like Sami was doing,
Mm.
Scoob would instead fake out a sandbag, but would keep full speed. And when he saw that Sami would slow down, he would just keep driving and build an advantage that way, build a gap because of how poor the Excel and PAL is.
Mm.
So I
Yeah.
think I was trying something similar here, where it's like, okay, I'm sort of gonna fake out a sandbag or like still get a second place item and maintain speed, but it wasn't really working out for me. I wasn't fully executing on it.
So interesting because I'm very close to you. Oh, you have banana, so you can put it.
I immediately tried to drop it in your
Why did
path.
I do that? Why? Oh, okay, just to. I try to
What?
trick you.
Again, I missed the items. Wow.
Okay, it's interesting because I don't want to take an advantage. Maybe I want to. Oh, okay,
Oh, wow.
that almost worked. Well, I'm in a good position. If you don't sandbag here,
No, I'm not going to.
okay,
It's
you
lap
don't.
5. I just drive.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I fired it. That should have
I'm
been a
gonna
drop.
wait. I'm waiting
Yeah,
until
you
here.
missed.
Oh, okay. And I think I can't make it.
Even if you make the jump, it's not enough.
Yeah. Okay,
What?
that was very, very poor strategy for me here.
That was a strange GV1. Not great. There were some ideas in play, but they
Hmm.
were executed poorly. And I'm not sure that all the ideas were good either. EC3. Yeah, so I go for the push. Oh, and
Oh, nice
again.
one.
Yeah. But let me see
Almost
that
the
again.
same.
Yeah, but you tapped the wall. So you went
Mhm.
for the push, right? When in the previous match, I didn't go for the push here as P2, and you did, and we got the rebound, and that sent you into the wall here. You almost got me again.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So I kept full speed. I
It's very
just
funny to
barely.
see those kind of moments in slow motion because when you're doing this, you don't realize how close you're getting to each other.
Absolutely. Red in the lead is pretty nice. Although, yeah, it's mostly. Oh, I tried to
Oh,
fire it down the lane.
it
Very
was almost
ambitious.
impossible to do. Yeah.
It's a very ambitious move.
It's funny to see how you slow down here just to make sure you wouldn't
Yep. It's for grip
uh,
also.
complete drown. Yeah.
It's a not hit a thwomp.
You are in a pretty good position
Yeah.
because even if I get a feather, I think I will still be behind.
That's tricky
And
here.
you're driving pretty well here.
He crashed again, so I think this is pretty
Mhm.
clear. I should be fine.
I think unless I get 2 feathers or maybe lightning, this one's for you. Or maybe if you crash because you still can. Still 2 laps to
That's
go. So
true.
okay, I got a feather, so it's gonna be interesting.
Leaving this room for safety.
And the problem is, can I get a second feather? Yeah, I can. Okay, so I'm
Oh,
here, but I can't get the second item. Wow. Can you rewind just? I
yep.
want to see my small recovery in the air here. So just after the shroom, the feather.
Yeah.
So okay, stop it.
Rebound. Yeah.
Yes, that's what that one. Look at
Well,
when I'm in the air control.
yeah.
Just I'm
That's
getting
pretty
on the
sick.
left just to make sure I'm not landing on the wall.
Oh, yeah. That's like a very small uh, counter steer
Yeah,
with R pressed to get
yeah,
back.
because you don't know where the wall on which side the wall is gonna put you back.
Yep, absolutely. So actually, something I want to mention here. It seems like you're one of the people who do this, and I
Hmm.
don't understand why. Is you do the feather
Yeah, it's a
complete
slide feather.
with full angular momentum. So here you're like sliding and doing it like with max angular momentum or like full slide, as you say. I don't understand why you do this. So the way
To
I
be honest, that's the way I learned to do it, and I never try to do it differently because that works. But yeah, that's probably a safer way to do it.
so the way I do it always is I go a little bit wider, so I'm in the
Mhm.
middle of the lane, and then as I'm approaching the wall, I'll counter steer so that I'm going
Yes.
straight and that
Yeah.
there's very minimal angular momentum, and that also allows you to cut left because here you wanted to pick up another item. And with the way you do it
True.
here, how the hell are you going to get into this lane with all
Yeah,
this
it's
sideways
impossible to
momentum,
get from
right?
that. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
that's something
that's
I see a couple players do. Like Jarmu also does all her feathers this way, like the Bowser Castle feathers, and I just don't understand it at all.
but the problem is if you've done this for many years, and in my case, it's more than 15 years, it's very hard to do it differently.
This is true, but you know, an old carter can learn new tricks. It's not
True,
impossible.
of course. I've learned a lot of things in the last 5 years, which I didn't think I would master. So,
Okay, back to 6-6. Despite your filthy double lightning, and we're
oh,
CI2.
finally.
Double miss.
Oh, that's
That's
the
my second.
first on the list. Oh no, that's the
No,
second after VL1. Yeah.
yes. Oh, and immediately.
Oh,
Okay,
very interesting one.
so immediately, feather versus red.
Yeah.
And for the people watching at home, what not to do with this feather? You do not use it. I repeat, you do not use it to dodge the red because
Never.
the feather on CI2 is way too powerful and way too easy to do. So under no circumstances should you use this feather to dodge your opponent's red shell. If you have
Unless
to,
you're in lap 5. In that case, you have the right to do it.
yeah, yes, okay, sure, but it's lap one.
But in lap one, never do
Never,
that.
never. You can try to dodge the red, but never use the feather to dodge it. So here I go for the wall immediately and even let Mario pass. He slows down because here at the lake, you get a really good shot. You can loop it back. So here he's trying to loop it. I, I'm kind of surprised it looped back. And I'm also surprised that you didn't fire it earlier,
Mm.
like here in the lake. Because here, like you wait till really late to fire this red.
Yeah.
And I could have like tried to full commit to going behind the piranha plant. So, right? Because it's looping towards the left like this behind you.
Because the best thing
And
to
I
do is
could
to
go
make
here
sure the red shell fires you on one of the bumpers and
and ejects me.
move.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
suppose so, but it's much less likely to hit in general.
Mhm.
I guess you want it for max punishment, especially because I have the feather. Okay, I can sort of see it. Here, I could have like tried to full commit over here, although I was kind of slow speed, so I'm not sure how well it would have worked. But in any case, I take the red. Considering how long it took to hit me, I probably would have had time. And here, there are options. As the player with the feather here, I can either go for it immediately and just be way ahead, or I can
That's
hold
what you.
I
Yeah.
can hold on to it until lap 4 to deny Mario second place items.
Yeah, because that's way too early. You're really putting you at risk. So I can become second again and get maybe another feather or shrooms, which still are powerful even in PAL.
This is true. However, my way of viewing this is that at least nowadays, I'm not sure what I do in this match. I assume I'll do the same thing, but I'm not confident. I would go for the feather immediately. The
Hmm.
reason I would do this is because the odds of a feather on Choco Island are the same, regardless of if you're in first or in second.
Mm.
And yes, mushrooms are a threat, but they're not that strong. The execution is kind of tricky to do the long boost. And I think I would still be at least on par with you if you got a mushroom. And I don't want to be in second place holding on to this feather and you pick up a feather in the lead. I really don't want that situation. So
Mm.
instead, I would use this feather immediately. Uh, and then like see what happens while I'm in first. Because I will also be out of red range. But apparently
Okay,
I
so
don't
you're
go
keeping
for it.
it.
At least in 2020 me just decided to keep it, which is not what I would do nowadays. Get coins and see here the feather sort of blocks. Okay, so I guess I
Okay, you're
I,
keeping
I
it
have
until the very
changed.
last.
I have evolved as a player. So this is, I mean, this is absolutely a valid strategy on my part. Um, it's simply not the specific strategy that I would employ nowadays in 2025. Yeah, so you picked
I
up
get.
junk.
So
You
I
got
get
really
all
nothing.
items.
This, yep, and win. Uh, As Mario there, there's nothing you could really do.
Hmm.
So I'm back in the lead,
And I hope
7-6.
I'm not missing
Kitty
my
run.
zoom start here.
Oh, I
And
missed
you
it this
miss.
time. Okay.
And I think this is the first time I get the zoom starts and you don't.
It is, yes. So banana, some slowdown on my end. Get a green. Probably drop it. Yeah. What else am I going to do with it? I'm not driving, not driving well. Using more
And I
speed.
am. So
Yeah,
yeah.
you're driving really well.
So unless you get a very powerful item, I think this is impossible for you to win that one because I
I,
got a good pace.
I pretty much need a red or a lightning.
Yeah, no shrooms, no
A
feathers,
banana.
nothing. I can almost lap you, so I can lap you, and I'm really performing very safe last turn at every lap. So
Yep.
oh, not this
Oh,
time.
that was
Nice one,
that was a sick nanner.
nice one.
Just the
Yeah,
call out like, oh, boom. I mean,
like Geo would say, for the honor.
for the honor, yes. And now I go pick up the extra item. That's I should have gone
Yeah.
for it earlier. But anyway, this was definitely for the honor.
Yeah, so one of us
Banana
is gonna get a gold medal point after that, after VA1.
after a VL1, disgusting.
And
Ooh,
once
double
again,
miss. Yeah.
that's your first
Actually,
2 consecutive miss, I guess.
but it's three, right? Because I missed the one before.
You missed. Oh yeah, you also missed it
So
on
this is actually
CIT.
a point. This is a really important point in the match where I missed CI2. You can.
Yep.
I'm looking at. I missed KB1 and I missed VL1. So I missed three zooms in a row,
Yeah.
like towards the end of the match. And that's really critical.
So
That makes a
maybe
big
yeah,
difference.
maybe that's the moment you're starting to lose it for some reason,
Perhaps,
because
yeah.
those zoom starts are one of your
My
base points
strengths, yeah.
in match race. Here, your long boost allows me to get the second,
Yeah.
the P2
Yeah,
item.
so usually I don't go for this long boost anymore. I don't like going for the last corner long boost because it
Mm.
puts you
Yep.
in danger with the killer. And also, indeed, what you pointed out here is that by doing the long boost here, I was allowed you to go wide and pick up a second place item.
Mhm.
So I really don't like that I went for the long boost there. And I didn't even keep full speed. Just, yeah, got a way better exit out of it. I'm not in control at all. Ooh, that's a hard path to get through. Another mushroom
I,
out, and you
well, you're
blocked it.
forced to do it.
Yeah,
No,
I
are
have
you
to do
gonna
the
do it
first corner.
here?
Yeah, because you also put in up a block, and I missed
No
the
items.
items. Yeah, lots of small mistakes accumulating on. Ooh,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that's a big
That one's
mistake. Yep,
over.
over. And you're just playing really solid, which is what you need in this sort of situation. When your opponent is making like accumulating small mistakes like this, especially at high level, you need to capitalize on that. And typically, the best way to capitalize is just to play super solid.
Mhm.
When your opponent is making these small mistakes, sort of self-sabotaging, like just blowing up on their own, you have to be really, really solid to just not give them a footing back in the match and just capitalize on those points, which is what Mario is doing successfully here.
That's the moment where being an excellent time trial driver helps, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. You can just focus on the driving. So
But
once
this is a
again,
gold medal
double
point.
double gold medal point for you. MC2, both
Okay, we
zooms.
both get the zooms. That's a good thing.
Yeah,
No shrew, no
no
red
red.
shell this time.
Yep.
I still have the better item in the lead.
Yeah, because you can also keep this to win a sandbag situation.
But I
But
decided, oh, okay, so that's my strategy. When I feel confident,
yeah,
I decide to run away. When I know I can, uh, I'm in a good position at that moment because I'm leading.
yeah,
I have the right to lose that one, so I take maximal risks because I know I can lose that one.
that's fair. And something also here, right? I sort of enabled you to go for that because I go
Mhm.
really wide on this here because I'm trying to set up for a sandbag potentially, or at least trying to get a second place item, make you do
Yep.
something, right, to contest it. But you decide not to, and you just drive off with the long boost and capitalize on the fact that I went wide to create a pretty significant gap here. So
What are
it's
you
a
gonna do with that star? Enable it just when you land here?
yeah, I
No?
think.
Okay, just afterwards. Well, you're not so far actually. If you get a red share,
Oh,
no.
okay.
Oh yeah, you still can be back in the game.
Yeah, this is close. I am so
Ooh,
close to
very,
the
very close
yeah,
to
and
the
we
pipes.
both go wide here.
You use your shroom?
I did use this room. Huh?
Where?
Huh?
Why?
What?
Why you do that?
What the oh, huh?
That's very at the very end of your star. Was it a misclick or what?
I don't know what the hell I was doing. That's a huge blunder. Like it's not an obvious, right? It's not like a crash or something that's super
Mhm.
obvious when you're just watching, but that is in terms of decision making a really big blunder.
Mhm.
Was I trying to like shroom into you with like the
Yeah,
star?
maybe,
But
but you were far away. I don't think.
some so just for staying second, I should have kept it. I should have kept it to the entry of the next lap because
Yep.
then I have a shroom and Mario has nothing, and I can sort of force a scenario where I get a second place item. This is just nonsense. This is just really bad.
And so I'm
Yeah,
sandbagging.
And then I'm
We're
sandbagging.
okay.
Yeah, yeah,
That's the moment.
yeah.
And
Oh, and I
and
missed
the
the
point,
items.
and I'm second.
Oh,
Okay.
that's really bad. Yeah,
I think that's the key point of the match.
yeah. Oh,
Oh,
what?
okay.
What?
And
Okay,
you're
let's.
gonna sandbag in the very last lap, I guess.
So here, so the thing is, if I had gotten my second place item here,
Yeah.
right, I was just very slightly off. If
Hmm.
this had clipped the item box and I picked up an item, I would have had good speed with a second place item to just drive off. But instead, at a mushroom,
I think at that point I was like,
this,
okay, this is it, and I wasn't
yeah.
expecting for that killer to be here.
And also, you can see here, I go wide and then I cut
Hmm.
in because you're going wide.
Yeah.
And then I cut in, and it's like as if I'm going for a body block, and I'm lucky that the killer is just behind there to catch you.
And I'm lucky to still have the shroom
Yeah,
at
and
that.
then I hit the oil patch.
What?
Look at this.
How did you go there?
Here, look.
Oh yeah. Okay, you were very wide
I
to
was super wide,
avoid all that mess.
but look at how I hit this oil patch.
You absolutely don't touch
I
it.
don't touch it.
Oh my!
That's an oil patch hit.
That's ridiculous.
So yeah, you're shroom ahead, so you have all right,
BS at its finest.
yeah, you go for a long boost, whereas I went wide. Oh, and I tapped the pipe. Oh
Okay.
man. And then I throw the banana. Yeah. But that's not enough. Oh, damn. Wow. The last few tracks are kind of wild. And there it is. Mario wins the gold medal.
That was a
GG.
really That was really a great match. It was, this is why I wanted to rewatch it first because I didn't remember a single thing. And wow, it's really a draft compared to what we did the year after. Because there are so
Yeah.
many bloopers, so many mistakes, so many. Well, we still managed to get there because we probably played better than our opponents until there. But wow, that was a festival of bloopers from time to time.
Absolutely. There were it seemed to me like a lot of the decision making was there, but not all
Mhm.
of it. So like
Yep.
we had a good chunk of the decision making set up in place, but then the execution was failing quite a bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, as Carol says in the chat, now high stakes match
Mhm.
race is always going to have mistakes.
I agree. I agree. It's impossible to have a high level match race without mistakes. It's
But I think it's also pretty clear that
oddly enough,
yeah,
high level GP has very few mistakes. But in match race, it's almost impossible to have
well,
clean races,
it,
and that doesn't make them less beautiful to watch.
it's also because in match race you have more interactions between players.
Mhm.
In
Yeah,
GP,
exactly.
there's a single interaction will often determine the outcome of a race.
Yeah,
But in match race, it's quite common for it to be more than one interaction.
yeah, absolutely.
But yeah,
It's very interesting to see how both of us developed something in terms of mind game, and from time to time, both of us had very weird decisions. Weird. Now, 5 years after, we really like, why the fuck did I do that?
absolutely.
But I think, but to be really honest, I think the worst item decision of the whole game was this shroom on
Oh yeah,
MCQ.
yeah. That shroom I did was terrible.
That one is unexplainable.
That was absolutely really bad. That's the type of decision that you see in a match, and the only possible conclusion, especially when it's like in a final match, right? Like it's a very high stakes, high level match. The only conclusion you draw is like the player brain fried. Their decision making is just like basically they lost the mental energy is just gone,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
It's just a lapsus in decision making. There's no other explanation for it. But yeah, any closing thoughts beyond what we've said so far?
Um. Well, it was really fun to rewatch, and very nice to analyze a match for the very first time. By the way, because that's the first time I'm doing it. I've done this in French on my own channel, commenting some of my matches for my audience, but this is the first time I'm doing it with my opponent. So that was really, really interesting to do. And yeah, it makes me really want to do it for the next final.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks
Not
again
not
for joining
today,
me. No, no,
but yeah.
definitely not today. I had given you an estimate of like 2 hours for this, but
It's been 3, of
it's it's been
course.
it's been three, of course.
I mean, it's you and me commenting each other playing into very long matches. So
Absolutely. So for reference, the raw video of this match is just over an hour long. So it makes sense that, the analysis would also be quite long. Um, but still, you know, thanks again. I mean, also the fact that, I know you, well, we've had conversations about, right, what English is like for you or for other non-native speakers, but to be able to do analysis in English is also really nice, and speaks a lot to, being able to think about the game and talk about it
oh,
like
you're
this.
welcome.
And yeah, I think the important note here also is we'll definitely get around to doing the 2021 Grand Final, as you've teased, because as we had promised each other at the end of this tournament, SMKAS,
Mm,
we promised each other that we would meet again in the quote unquote proper CDX match
Yep,
race grand final the following year.
and
And
we did it.
we successfully did it. So next time, whenever that happens to be, we'll do the match analysis of the CDE 2021 PAL match race grand final between the two of us.
Exactly.
But that will be
Exactly.
for another day.
Yeah, and I promise we will come in that one.
Excellent.
I'm a man of my word. Even if it takes time. I remember. Must I remind you that it took me probably 10 or even 11 years to take down that Rainbow World record. But I told I would do it someday, and I did.
We had to include a mention of Rainbow Road World Records in this match analysis, of course.
Oh yeah, maybe someday.
And we'll try to make it in less than 3 years from now.
Yeah, and less than 3 hours as well.
Well, I don't know about that part. It doesn't have to be less than 3 hours.
We'll see.
If there's stuff to talk about, we can take all the time we need, basically.
True.